Good afternoon. Oh, wow, we hit the wrong button already to start the show. That's not good. Good afternoon and welcome to Main Street Sports, our wonderful, it's the end of the season basketball standout show, and we are excited about it here. Ray Halbrook with Livestream STL. Thanks for being with us, and we've got a lot of awesome things to brag about, talk about, all the great folks that we have been able to cover this particular season. We had a lot of games this season, and before we get rolling with it, I'm going to bring in my good friend Jeff Whitener. Jeffrey, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Ray. So excited to be here. We're putting a bow on the package here that was the local high school basketball season in the JCAA, large and small schools. As you said, we've seen quite a few games collectively as a group, and it was a long season, but a very good season. Before we start, guys, with our standouts, and just to let everybody know, we picked a first and second team in large and small schools, boys and girls. Want to go over the criteria, go on record here, set everything straight. But before we do that, to my left here is Scott Lotta, Scott the Freak Lotta. Scott has seen a lot of basketball games this year with us, and he's going to give us our opinion. Scotty, what do you think of the season just overall as far as the ebb and flow?
I think the way it started, a lot of teams that we kind of had high expectations for kind of slogged out of the gate a little bit. And then we saw some of the track records for, like, the coaches kind of come more to fruition. And then, we had some surprises. So, I mean, overall, I thought it was very exciting. I know on the girls' side, I got to see a lot of action that was, I think, needed to be highlighted more. And on the boys' side, I mean, there was just some tremendous games.
And Scott's been a great advocate for the girls' basketball here in the county, and really a big cheerleader. We'll get to that a little bit as well. But also, to Scott's immediate left, to your right as you're watching at home, we have Mr. Cole Rickerman of the Festus Tigers. Cole, we appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Not only will Cole be featured today in some of our selections, but we've asked Cole to come in for the whole hour to kind of get his opinion on some of the players that he's played against, what games he's seen, and even some of his observations on some of the girls' games that he saw this year, because for those who don't know, he does have a vested interest in some of the girl basketball in the large school area. Let's just leave it at that. But before we do that, let's go over the criteria, gentlemen. Now, our standouts were picked by members of the live stream media team, including coaches. Collectively, as a group, whether it was live stream or myself, the coaches, whatever, we saw well over 100 games this winter. Now, no all-star list is perfect, and this one, I'm sure, will be debated. This list is based solely on our opinions from watching the athletes play as well as season statistics. The list includes JCAA, large and small schools. It would be unfair to add any suburban conference players, as we seldom saw them play. And that goes for our friends in the St. Louis County and City as well. We chose our players regardless of grade level. Grade level is not a factor in any of our voting. We made a point of not naming any co-MVPs. We had to go back and split hairs to try to find the actual players, our MVPs at each level this year. Each live stream member submitted their own personal picks. Our ballots were reviewed, and the unanimous choices automatically made the team. Then we had to go by a majority vote for the rest of the players. We know that some really good players did not make this list. It was not our intent to slight anyone or upset local schools or sponsors. This is simply our way to recognize who we thought were the best performers throughout the season and to have some fun and put a wrap on the season. Now, the last point is this list of players is biased, as most postseason accolades are. Unless you're going by straight statistics, you can never.
Where's the fun in that?
Right, exactly. What's the fun is that? As Scott always says, statistics only tell one part of the story. So without further ado, Ray, we have up first, ladies first, our small schools girls first team.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and starting off our list, and these are in alphabetical order for everybody at home, we have Miss Riley Capozzo, junior from the St. Pius Lancers. Riley was a first-team all-conference player. She was among the metro area leaders in assists and steals. really the leader of the team on the court and the top defender. She helped the Lady Lancers to a 16-10 record and a district championship. And Riley was our unanimous selection to the Main Street Standouts team, her second year in a row with that honor. Scott Lotta, as many of you know from watching this, a big fan of Riley Capozzo and what she can do on the court. Scotty?
I mean, most think of her as a defensive specialist, but her defense immediately turns into offense a lot of times. She is guarding the backcourt. She'll get a lot of steals. She'll get a lot of layup drills. Just a lot of excitement to watch her play. Always has a smile on her face. Always has a great attitude. You always see her directing traffic. You see her out there leading the team.
A true joy to watch on the court. Cole, did you get a chance to see Riley play at all this year at the small schools?
No, I did not see, but I mean, seeing that through leading the team and top defender and leading to district championship, I mean, obviously this team obviously runs through her, so she's definitely probably a good pick.
Absolutely. Ray, you've known Riley for a while. You got to see her play. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The big thing that comes to me is speed, and she is stealth-like with her steals. So, I mean, it's very, and that's very important.
And what is she, 4'2"?
Yeah, she's 4'2", shortest kid in the county. And, the awesome part about her is she does not have a quit in her.
No.
And
no fear either.
No fear, no quit.
Especially in that West County game. Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, that's a great nucleus to start with, to have, and just a great kiddo all around. And she was very much the spark plug to help folks like P.J. Krodinger, folks like Statinas, folks like Charleville, get things going. So
absolutely.
So there you go.
A great three-sport athlete, as well as soccer, and added softball to her repertoire last year, much to Coach Kevin Halley's delight over there at St. Pius. So, moving on to player number 2, we have Kate Eisenbeis, junior, Crystal City Hornets. Kate was a first-team All-District player. She was among the metro area leaders in scoring, rebounds, and block shots. She led the Hornets in scoring, along with Molly Clemens, and in rebounds and block shots. She's really, in my opinion, an underrated post player in the league behind some more well-known names. It's tough. Two things. It was tough for Kate this year, the fact that they had a pretty challenging year over at Crystal City, Scott, and you're playing in a conference that has an Annabelle Wakeland and a Macy Pilliard, but still she quietly put up some very impressive numbers for the Hornets.
Yeah, her team, 10 and 15 this year. Little bit of transition. Like you said, maybe a little bit of the spotlight kind of gets split between her and Clemens, but a solid all-around player, only looking to improve.
Absolutely. Cole, did you get a chance to see Kate or any of the small school girls play?
No, not particularly, but when I've heard around girls basketball through here, I mean, her name's popped up multiple times throughout all the years I've been in high school, and I know that she's probably leading that team.
Well, it's certainly been a lot of Eisenbeises on a lot of teams around this area, boys and girls, that's for sure. Ray, your opinion of Kate Eisenbeis?
Yeah, so I talked with Coach Ken Jones real early in the season, was really high on how things were going with her. I mean, at one time I know she was averaging close to 25 points a game, first 2 or 3 games.
She almost averaged a double-double this year.
So, kudos to her, and, I mean, she was definitely the big powerhouse for Crystal City this year.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to switch gears now, going back over to the St. Pius Lancers, and up next we have a freshman making our list, our first team, P.J. Krodinger, along with Capozzo and Flanagan, just amazing players to watch on the court for the Lancers this year. She was second-team all-conference selection in the coaches' voting. She led the entire metro area in steals by a margin of 27.
By a lot.
Led the Lancers in scoring, steals, and free throw percentage. One of the fastest players in the conference for sure. Helped lead the Lady Lancers to a 16-10 record overall and a district championship. And P.J. Krodinger was a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports team. And Scott right there along with Riley Capozzo, although Krodinger probably focused more on the defensive side between her and her teammates. The trio of Flanagan, Capozzo, and Krodinger, they far exceeded anyone else in terms of steals in the entire metro area.
Yeah, and when you talk to, surrounding coaches who had to play them, I mean, you just kind of see this glazed look over their eyes like, and it's like they were so aggravating to play that trio. And you talked about her being an underclassman, just a freshman. And I think maybe she got a little bit tired down the stretch because I think some of her offensive numbers kind of lagged a little bit. But, dude, the sky is the limit for her. I mean, she's already a master at stealing the ball. I mean, she ball hawks like anybody. She rebounds. She can score. It's a great asset knowing that she's going into her sophomore year next year.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, Scott. And Cole, as you know, being on the floor, in addition to having speed and athletic ability to be able to make a steal and score in transition, you have to have that instinct. You have to have vision on the court.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to it than just that raw athletic ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's more. There's a bunch of timing into it, and just knowing when's the right time to go get the ball or when's the right time to hold back so you don't foul or you don't get hurt or you can get that steal or you don't give up a layup because they blow right by you because you missed a steal. So leading the metro area in 27 steals is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. That's for sure. Ray, what did you think of our little pickpocket over there?
Yeah, so I'm big on PJ Kreudinger. We're hearing about her even last season. So unknown sources were telling me about that we've got this girl's coming up and she's gonna be pretty doggone good. And it's even wasn't even Dad there. So but shout out to Mr. Kreudinger out there, Mr. Lawrence. But the big thing for me, you immediately plugged her in. I saw her the first game of the season. We were down at the shootout out there. Long. It seems like it was so long ago, but the shootout down at Farmington Civic Center, and when they plugged her in right off the bat, I mean, they immediately got so much better. I mean, I think that was something that Coach Portell was taking a look at. We really need an answer person for the next season. Plugged her in, and I think she was definitely the answer. And he's got her for another 3 years.
The Lancers certainly embraced that moniker that many other coaches gave them, and they're aggravating to play.
Right.
Just aggravating to play. Well, now we started off with the players of lesser vertical stature. Now we're going to start moving up here, up the growth chart a little bit, Scott. Our next player on the list from the Herculaneum Black Cats, and that is Macy Pilliard. Macy is first-team all-conference selection, the second year on our all-sports standout, Main Street Sports Standout, all-district, among the leaders in scoring, rebounds, and block shots. She helped lead her Black Cats to a 15-12 record and the third straight JCA Small School Conference Championship. And Macy Pilliard was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports team. And I think, Scott, you probably got to see Macy a little more than I do this year. Talk about her play a little bit.
All right. Obviously, she was featured on the conference champion Herculaneum Black Cats. Macy kind of was unfortunately dubbed, kind of the next heir apparent after Paige Fowler graduated. It kind of took the Black Cats a little bit of time to kind of formulate their identity, I think. And I think everyone just kind of naturally looked to her. It's like, okay, well, everything's going to run through you. It kind of took her a little bit of time, I think, to get her footing, but, I mean, she never shied away from it. And even when she came back, I think, off of COVID, and she had a game where she did not score, she still dominated on the defensive side. She had, 10, 11 blocks. She had, 12, 13 rebounds and a couple of steals. She didn't score, but she still dominated that game.
Absolutely, and as Cole will probably tell us, there are plenty of ways to make a big impact on the floor if your shot's not falling that night.
There's a whole bunch of ways that you can get things done. You don't have to be the main scorer to do a great job out there.
But the noteworthy part of that is she, at the time, she was their leading scorer.
Right.
So to come out and not get any points out of her.
It's not like she was Dennis Rodman, no points, 20 rebounds a game, Yeah. But Macy was certainly a force in this league. And, whether you talk about Macy and our player that's coming up next, or Kate Eisenbites, just other teams in the JCA small schools and other teams in their districts really didn't have an answer for those players at all. Which leads us to our next player from the Grandview Eagles, Annabelle Wakeland. And Annabelle is a first-team all-conference player of the year and is all-district. She was 6th overall in the metro area in rebounds, 3rd in block shots. So she was really a force in the middle on the girls' side. Led the Eagles in scoring, free throw percentage, rebounds, and block shots. So a multi-threat athlete. Second on the team in assists. Now you've got your large post player who's also your second on the team in assists. Annabelle Wakeland was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team. And in addition to Riley Capozzo, Scott's also a member of the Annabelle Wakeland fan club. So, Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about Annabelle.
All right, how much time we got?
We'll cut you off
All right, so it's going to come to like Oscars where the music
like
starts
the Oscar,
coming up?
Yeah,
okay.
the music comes up.
But obviously, I'm an alumni from Grandview. Got close with Coach Winkler this year. But Annabelle Wakeland, I mean, just as the season went on, obviously everything runs through her, and she can just do it all. She can shoot from long range. She can rebound. She can block shots. She can score, even when they double team her. In the game against Herculaneum that basically decided the league, the conference, Coach Blair threw everything but the kitchen sink at her, and she still found a way. Up until, 99.9 seconds of that first three quarters, her team was in it because of her.
Absolutely. It's been amazing to watch her. Now she's a junior, develop over the years, and even with one more year, to see what she can do her senior year, and to see maybe some of the offers that she's going to get. And I don't know, Cole, did you get a chance to see Annabelle play at all? Or
no, I did not. But with all these accolades that you just named off, she seems like a really good member of that Grandview team.
Well, yeah, as Scott said, the ability to come out and she can play, in addition to the low post, the high post as well. But she can go out there and sling it from the arc if needed be. Just dishing assists. She's really.
So you can dish to her sis. I thought you were going to go with.
That too, and we'll talk about her sister a little later here. But just her game has grown exponentially in what she can do and the versatility she has on the court. I don't know, Ray. What can you top those accolades for us for Annabelle?
Well, we had a chance to catch up with her yesterday, actually, and what's so cool about her? I love she's so humble, and she's just like, she doesn't take anything for granted, which is awesome, and you get that with kids that work hard. And she's a kid that definitely works hard. I mean, you take a look, and this is no diss on Cole being here. Cole's got a little time off. The other three players of the year, they're all playing this weekend. So she's one of them. So we were able to catch up with her, and we'll have that interview with her in a little bit. But the chance of her, being, it was real high. We talked. I think we talked between her and Pilliard, this year being the player of the year, and they both duked it out. There's no doubt about it, and they both have similar roles. But both Wakeland and Pilliard, because you didn't give me a chance to brag on Pilliard here real quick, so I will. The most important thing that I thought about Pilliard and Wakeland for both, they both had two different games where they weren't necessarily the main person that was getting all the boards, that was getting all the points and all this stuff, but both of them in both of those particular games, and the one game, Herculaneum at when they were at St. Pius, Pilliard didn't have any points. Britton had all the points, and she was just kept feeding Britton, and that takes a lot of guts to just say, I'm going to take my pride, I'm going to put it to the side, and boom, and we're going to feed the hot hand today, and do what's best for the team. Same thing for Wakeland. Wakeland does that time in and time out when she knows she's not on, which isn't very often, but there's been a few times where she's been off. She kicks it out to her sister. She kicks it out to somebody else. She'll kick it out to Moore. She'll kick it out to whoever that is hot. So I think that's a huge key in being a great player, not just a good player.
I agree 100% there. That's really speaks to their character, Well, that takes care of our first team, gentlemen. Let's move on to our small girls' second team players. And leading off this list from Herculaneum, the senior, Kristen Britton. Now, Kristen was a first-team all-conference player in the coaches' voting. Second team here for us, averaged 6 points per game for the Black Cats. Their late season surge helped propel Herculaneum into the postseason and helped lead her Black Cats to a 15-12 record and third straight JCA Small School Conference Championship. Kristen Britton was a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports Standout team, and really a late season surge, a find, got her groove. As Scott, as you mentioned, as the Black Cats were trying to find their identity, she was a major piece of the puzzle down the stretch.
Yeah, and as their one-loss record in the early going was kind of seesawing a little bit, like I said, they were trying to kind of find just some sort of identity. She kind of really had one of those games, I think we were actually calling that game, where she made a couple of threes, and you could just kind of see, you could see the shoulders kind of relax a little bit. You could see her kind of, the confidence kind of start to grow a little bit, and then you could just see her game start to develop a little bit more, and the team kind of went right with that.
Yeah, I don't know where they would have been down in the stretch without her being able to come in and contribute in the manner in which she did. Especially when you had Pilliard out for that game with the COVID and all. It was a big thing down the stretch, and
they had a lot of nip and tuck games too, where they were maybe 5-6 points,
exactly.
Deciding that.
And I'm sure, Cole, although you may not have seen Herculaneum play much or familiar with Kristen Britton, you certainly understand the value of having those players come in, especially your upperclassmen, and make a huge contribution in certain situations.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes things aren't going your way. You get your couple best players. They don't get the buckets that you need. Having those supporting players to help you out, I mean, they just come through big in the biggest moments.
Exactly. Ray, did you get to see Kristen play much this year?
Did a little bit, and we talked a little bit about that earlier, about her
right.
big game over there at St. Pius. And she was just a person that evolved throughout the season. And, didn't know a whole lot about her to begin with, but, man, we knew a lot about her by the end of the season. And that's saying something, because, when you have a kid like that evolve, it's hard, especially as a coach, to kind of trust that at first. But then, boom. When you know you can feed her a little bit more and a little bit more, and she handles that okay, that builds the trust. So kudos to Kristen Britton.
Well, I know her teammates really appreciated her contributions this year for sure. Well, moving on now, we're going back over to Crystal City now to the Hornets junior who makes our list, and that's Molly Clemens. Molly was a second all-team conference pick. She was second on the Hornets in scoring, assists, steals, rebounds, and block shots. She was definitely a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports standout team. And Scott, as you mentioned, that tandem over there with Kate Eisenbeiss and Molly Clemens, they were the major bright spots, and they did most of the heavy lifting for the girls over there.
Yeah, actually, I got to see Clemens quite a bit last year as well, and you could kind of see, where the arc was going with her, and then to see her come out and perform like she did this year is no surprise.
Exactly. And, it's, a pretty good shot, too. And here again, a player that's going to have another year to go. So things definitely looking up for the Hornets over there. Ray, I'm going to bypass Cole here because I doubt that he got to see Molly play at all.
No.
But, Ray, your thoughts on Molly Clemens?
Yeah, same here. I mean, we got to see her real early in the season. And, again, talking a lot to Coach Ken Jones about the tandem with her and Eisenbeiss, is kind of the tandem that they were on a roll for real early in the season, and they were hoping. I'm sure they were hoping to do a lot deeper run there for the districts. Fell short, but that's kind of how Crystal City, being that smaller school, they try to play a kind of a balanced season where we're going to take teams that are similar to us, but also we're going to try to take some bigger teams to get bulked up for the districts. But, Molly Clemens, a great addition and help. And, again, she'll be back here next year.
Yeah, Ray, you bring up a great point. You can never, on either boys or girls Crystal City team, you can never really – you have to take their regular season record with a grain of salt because of the level of competition they're playing, as opposed to the size of the school that they're at. So, good points there. And, she'll be back and stronger than ever next year, I'm sure. But Scott, now we're going to go back over to St. Pius, and we're the final member of that trio of pickpockets over there for the Lancers, and it's Colleen Flanagan, all-conference honorable mention in the coaches voting, but second team on our list here. Metro area leader in assists. She led the Lancers in assists and averaged 6 points per game. She provided a steady, calming senior leadership on the floor. helped lead the Lady Lancers to a 16-10 record and a district championship, and Colleen was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team.
Got to see her quite a bit, and she was one of the three amigos. I mean, if it wasn't Capozzo, if it wasn't Crodinger, it was her. Always ball hawking. I mean, on offense on the other team, they always had to have eyes in the back of their head. Where are these three? And like I said, she doesn't get as many accolades as the other two, but I mean, as the senior, her leadership, and you could see her kind of calming, Crodinger, and you could see her kind of having conversations, and she was just everything a coach could ask for.
Right. We saw there were times when they switched off, especially like against one in the postseason, West County, where Colleen would bring the ball up the floor instead of Riley. They were focusing on Riley, and Colleen just provided that security blanket in a lot of ways. The upperclassmen being able to help kind of calm things down, and I'm sure Cole recognizes that because he's been put in that situation as well. When things are, you got the adrenaline going and the nerves going, you need those upperclassmen to kind of say, okay, let's calm things down a little bit.
It's just basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even slow the pace down just a hair if need be. You know.
Just kind of let everybody take a deep breath. I said it to our guys the whole year. Take a deep breath, even like shooting free throws in the clutch. Deep breath before you shoot it. Let it all out. Focus. Do what you need to do. Get it done, and then we'll be successful.
Exactly. It sounds simple when you say it like that, Cole.
Gotta make it as simple as you can.
Well, Ray, we're certainly familiar with all of the Flanagan athletes.
Another Flanagan, right?
Another Flanagan through here, Colleen.
Yeah. One cool thing, we had her on as player of the game later in the season this year, and I'll just tell you that we picked her player of the game, and we don't normally just pick player of the game based on points or what just an amazing performance. Sometimes it's once in a while it's one of those things. It's like, hey, it's the team player that did this, or one or two little things here that just spoke leaps and bounds.
Right.
And that particular game was one of those games we had her on. And, we just asked her, said, what is it that keeps you, kind of as kind of the lion tamer, so to speak, for the St. Pius X Lancers? But, what is it? And she had such a cool, answers, just like, there's times where I've got to kind of calm them down and rein them in, just like you talked about, Cole. But it is throughout the year, you're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs. And there's so much pressure. But I think the big thing about Colleen Flanagan being the senior leadership, all the experience, she was able to pull those things in and rein those kids in for the team, and they had a deep run because of it, I think.
Right, and unfortunately, I think she is the last Flanagan to come through.
No.
Nope.
So,
There's
there's one more?
I think there's one more.
One more? All right.
right.
If anybody's
Uno
watching,
mas.
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
There you go.
All right, well, we're going to switch back over to Scott's alma mater now, and we're going to talk about our next selection, second-team player. That's Natalie Moore, the senior for the Grandview Eagles. She was all-conference honorable mention in the coaches' voting, but she makes our second team here. A tough, here again, senior leader of the Eagles. Second on the team in rebounds. Very athletic player, and regardless of what she did, very tough player.
You can't say tough enough about her.
Exactly, about Natalie. She is committed to Three Rivers College to play softball next year, and she was a unanimous selection to our Main Street sports team. And I got to know Natalie very well this year because she is very familiar with one of the athletes on R7, who she'll be remaining nameless. But great athlete. She's just got some athletes you look in their eye, and you can just tell that's a competitor. They get a look during the game, and you can just tell, Scott, and she's definitely one of them.
Yeah, wasn't it the West County game where she got trucked by one of the hedge courts? And then she was like in a sling, and then some point in the second half, she basically threw the sling away and was like, I'm going back in the game.
Exactly.
She was bloodied, she was bruised, and she was like, this is my moment to go out there and help my team. I'm still physically capable. I may be a little banged up, but I mean, your teammates see that. I mean, you kind of hear that Rocky music, and you're like, all right, let's go. And she's just that kind of player.
That's right. You ever had those inspirational moments where you got hurt in the game and you came back in, and your teammates are like, yeah, all right, or seniors back out there?
So football homecoming game, we were playing Pacific, and I threw a pass late in the third quarter, and my arm got hit back, and it kind of rolled my shoulder out, and it rolled back. So I got all taped up. We went back in, fourth quarter, went back in, led all the way down the field, 90 yards, touchdown, won the game by 1 touchdown.
That's like every athlete's dream, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
No kidding. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's a great story. Ray, you got to know Natalie a little bit, first from softball.
Yeah.
And, of course, from volleyball and basketball.
Yeah, she is a multi Main Street Sports Standouts recipient. So, we caught her last spring for softball. One of our only, if I remember right, the only girls softball, standout. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I believe she's going to Three Rivers. Is that where
Yes.
she's going? I'm trying to remember. Off to Three Rivers, but another one of those key role players for Grandview, and just had a really good season this season. Was able to kind of help balance the Wakeland girls and kind of give them a good season to go off on.
Exactly. And speaking of the Wakeland girls, how's that for a segue?
Right.
We have our second Wakeland girl making our Main Street Sports Standout. This time it is Catherine Wakeland, the freshman at Grandview. And she was all-conference second-team voting in coaches. She makes our second team as well, a metro area leader in assists. She averaged 12 points per game, and she led the Eagles in assists and steals. And she was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team. And like P.J. Kroedinger, these two freshmen made huge impacts on the JCA small schools this year, Scott.
I believe they call her Kat. And
Kat
she was a freshman this year, I do believe.
That's right.
Yes.
So the league has 3 more years of her redhead. So it's that it's funny, but getting to see her, like I said, got to know Coach Winkler a little bit more this season. Next year, I mean, the sky is the limit. I mean, not to put expectations out there, but the Eagles have a lot of pieces in place going into next year, not even including, what they have, in the hopper that nobody knows about. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, she's she handles the ball. As a freshman, you could see that, she had times of poise. She had some times where, she tried to force it a little bit, but she's kind of got that number 25, Maddie Lawson, for the Herculean Black Cat. She kind of has that intensity. She kind of has that, I'm going to run right into the fray and figure it out kind of mentality. And as she kind of, hones that game a little bit, she's got a lot that she can do.
I think that's part of being the younger sibling there between the two. She probably had to be a little tougher,
I'd imagine
to
so.
deal with her big sister. But I don't know. Did you get to see Grandview girls play at all this year?
No, I did not.
All right, so we will pass right over Cole and take it over to
You've
Ray.
been vetoed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Catherine Wakeland, let me tell you, the game that that sticks out to me the most, I believe it was the St. Pius game that they played, and St. Pius, their freshman guard, their guard play, it is what it is. I mean, they're fast and furious, and she was one of those people that wanted to put a stop to it and did a pretty good job with it. So I remember that particular game, and she really kind of gave fits to Flanagan, gave some fits over to P.J. Kroedinger and things like that. So it helped keep that game close for 3 quarters, and just unfortunately just had a couple of things go the wrong way there late, and was unable to keep it close, but
Right.
Played a great game.
How fun is it going to be, guys, to watch Wakeland, Catherine Wakeland, and P.J. Kroedinger match up against each other for the next 3 years?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
they may match up against each other in voting for Player of the Year as well. So, well, that takes care of our small school girls, first and second teams. Now we're going to go over to the boys now, and start with the small school boys. Are you ready for that one, Ray?
I am getting myself ready. Here we go.
Those graphics,
Ready to roll.
outstanding graphics.
I'm ready.
All right. Here again, in alphabetical order, gentlemen, our first small school boys. First team member is Callaway Dashner, the senior from the Crystal City Hornets. First team all-conference player, makes our first team as well. Metro area leader in rebounds and block shots. Averaged 14 points per game for the Hornets and shot 51% from the field. He led the Hornets in steals as well, and Callaway is on my all-time greatest names in the conference list.
That's right.
We've talked about that many a time.
Do you think he wants to be rich?
I would hope so.
Okay.
I would hope
All
so.
right.
But
With a name like that.
I've seen Callaway play ever since I've seen him play football when he was in middle school, and I always knew that he was an integral part of anything that the Hornets would do in any sport. But it's nice to see him, as he's gone up to upper class senior now, get the accolades, because he's definitely put in the work, Scott.
Multi-sport athlete. I believe he plays baseball too, doesn't he? Okay.
As well as football, right?
Got to see him play a little bit of basketball, and then I also got to see him play some ball. I believe it was last summer.
He's on 253, I believe, right?
I
Is he
think
a
No,
253 guy
253.
now?
No.
Was it Festus?
No.
Okay.
No, he's Crystal.
Okay. But I saw him play last year, and he's just one of those talents. I mean, he's like, all length, and, he was just whatever you want him to do, he's like, I'll go out and I'll try it. A lot of times he played post, I saw, and dude was just, like Dennis Rodman. He was like, I'll find a way in there. He's like, he wasn't always scoring, but he was always affecting everything around him.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It made a big contribution this year for the Hornets. And, if they had lost a couple players, good players from graduation last year. And, Cole, are you familiar with Callaway at all?
Yeah, we played him this year. I mean, he was the guy that kind of held them all together. I mean, he did absolutely everything for him, which even leading in steals, he was kind of their big guy, which is really, really interesting to me. And I just wanted to also congratulate him. He's going to play football at McKendree next year.
So good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
See, I knew it was good to have Cole here the whole hour. I knew he would be able to fill in some of the blanks for us.
We should just definitely just give the show over to Cole here. I mean, he's doing a great job.
Well, that's true. And his sister's done great work with us when she's been on with us as well. So it runs in the family, obviously. So anyway, we'll move on to our second player now. This is the first time that Jefferson Blue Jays hit the list. This is the senior Colton Richardson. And Colton is a first-team all-conference player, metro area leader in scoring and rebounds, and led the Blue Jays in scoring, rebounds, field goal percentage, and free throw percentage. Cole has signed also to play football at Missouri Baptist University next year. Colton Richardson was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports team, Scott, and I know that you're a big fan of Colton Richardson and what he's been able to do.
And you talked about, the regular season record, put that, aside. This team, if you got to watch them play, smooth. Watching Colton, he could go in the post. He could shoot it from outside. He could steal the ball. He was just smooth, and he was just very fluid. I mean, watching him play was like must-see TV. It was so awesome to watch him play. And there wasn't anything. He went up against bigger players. He went up against faster players. It did not matter. He was undaunted by the task.
Great footwork, great moves around the basket for the post player. And I know that Cole can speak on this because Colton gave Festus all they could handle there.
Absolute fits the whole game. It was crazy. He had an amazing performance against us, and we couldn't put our big guy on him. He was too quick, went around, right? Like you said, he was smooth. I mean, just completely
Was that the
smooth.
game where he scored like the first 20 points for his team?
He had like 27 points in the first half, yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely insane. I mean, he was able to do it all for them, and it was really fun to play against him.
Well, I think he got a little up for that game because he was playing against his cousin there, post player Eric Cruz. So I think that was a little extra motivation for him.
Yeah.
But as you said, the footwork of the moves in the post. Obviously he can play high, low post. He can go out on the arc, whatever needs to be done. But that part of his game that has improved and evolved so much over the years, and that was really the neat part to say how he was able to score his baskets.
Yes.
But Ray, what do you think about Mr. Richardson, who's now out on a baseball field somewhere?
He is out on the baseball field. The unfortunate part about Jefferson, got late to getting into basketball from football.
Right.
So, when that happens, that causes a lot of your, just adjustments. So I think that's what Jefferson, and you would know being over there announcing for them, you kind of saw that the first, 5-10 games even. But as the season went, Colton Richardson was firing up. And I think I know that there's different types of shape you've got to get into. It's totally different from football because you got to work a total different set of muscles.
Amen to that.
And so thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know it makes me act like I know what I'm talking about, right? But I've seen that. You kind of see that transition of coming off of football. It takes games. It takes a handful of games to get yourself back in the swing of basketball. But once he got in, he was in hard and heavy.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of hard and heavy, we're going to go to our next player here. How's that for a segue? That's because this next guy certainly fits the bill of hard and heavy, and that's Nate Rubel, the senior for the St. Pius Lancers. Nate, the first-team all-conference player and was the co-MVP for the coaches poll, led the Lancers in scoring, rebounds, and block shots. He helped St. Pius to an 18-9 record in a conference championship. Nate is signed to play football for Northern Illinois University, and he was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Standouts team, and another glue player, in my opinion, that held the Lancers together. Pure athleticism, no matter what he did. Toughness, his rebounding was probably every bit as important for the Lancers as his scoring was, and another tough, hard-nosed guy that I don't know where Coach Miller and the Lancers would have been without him, Scott.
We talked about Richardson, completely different style of player, and kind of steal a little bit from his football career. His bruising style. I mean, I got to watch a lot of his football games, and dude, that guy would just run people over. And on the court, he was kind of that same way. You could kind of see it. He got the ball, and you see him get a head of steam going across half court. You're like, somebody better move.
Exactly.
Like, he is on a mission. He is going to score, and no one's going to stop him.
That's a very good point, Scott. Cole, did you get to go against Nate at all? Or?
Oh, well, me and Nate, we've been close since we've been little. I mean, we grew up playing basketball together. We played together, played football together.
Are our descriptions of Nate pretty well?
It is pretty well said. I mean, he's been that guy on the basketball court where you need him to get a rebound. He'll box out 3 or 4 guys, go up above him, get a quick layup, power through somebody, lay it in. He's really been that guy, and he's well deserving of all these accolades he's got.
And here again, he's a younger brother, so maybe that makes you tougher and meaner.
Oh, I'm
a
sure.
little more aggressive,
You got it.
I don't know. Rank, what can you tell us about Nate Rubel?
Nate Rubel, solid. The dude is solid. He's not one of those guys that's going to throw up 30 points a game, but he's going to throw up anywhere from 10, 12 to 15 points a game every game. And it's that's the thing that amazes me about him is he doesn't play an easy game either. He goes in the hard areas. He goes and gets in the tough areas, and that's where he gets his points from.
And from his personality too, he doesn't draw a lot of attention to himself. He's kind of quiet, kind of reserved, like when I talk to him. Mm-hmm. And even on the court, he's not real demonstrative at all. But all of a sudden, you're looking up and he's just making play after play.
Right.
All right, our next name on the. I almost said our next Gabe on the list, and that would probably is a dead giveaway here. And that's Gabe Watkins, Jr. of Herculaneum. First team all-conference and co-MVP. Metro area leader in scoring, assists, and steals. Shot 45% from beyond the arc. In my opinion, the fastest player in the league. Maybe Armand might have a little something to say about that. I don't know. Best mustache in the JCAA. Can we all agree on that? I think that's a consensus right there.
Even coaches could get in on this. He's still winning.
Right. And unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standouts team. It's funny. I'll just say this about Gabe. I saw him play at such a level. And there are certain athletes, Armad's certainly one of them, Cole's one of them, where sometimes you're playing at a level and you're seeing things mentally and doing things physical in the sport that is another gear higher than the rest of your team, and you have to kind of adjust yourself and go, wait a minute, you might make a pass here and there that we're expecting somebody, but they're not quite up at that level mentally, seeing how things develop. And I saw that with Gabe a lot this year. He would be coming down and trying to do some things that, unless there was another Gabe Watkins on the team,
wow, that's a lot to deal with, 2 of those.
Exactly. Scott, your take on Gabe?
I got to see him play last year in kind of a, very down season, we'll say, for the Herculaneum boys Black Cat squad. But you could kind of see him towards the end of the year, start to kind of, put it a little together. And then he came out of the gate this year, and it was like, wow. It's like, we fast forwarded like 18 months. It's like, how did he go from he was a good player before, but I mean he was just so much better this year. And I think that speaks volumes to the success they had on the court.
Not only that, but his work ethic too. He has worked his tail off to get to where he has been, and I'm hearing that from a lot of other coaches and a lot of players too. And I'm sure Gabe's been around the area and in different gyms and pickup gyms. And I don't know if you've played against Gabe at all, Cole.
No, we haven't played that much, but I saw them play in the Christmas tournament, and he was their guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was just their guy. He was making all the moves. I mean, he kept them in games this year, from what I saw.
Exactly. Can
His
you imagine
speed
a backcourt
and elevation?
See, the only other guy, like I said, with Gabe, his speed, not just physically speed, but mental speed. If he was on a team with yourself or Armad, that would have been quite a sight to see.
That would
Because
be
I don't think
unfair.
you the only two other guys that would be capable of matching that physical and mental speed that Gabe had.
Yeah, he's
As far as making plays, but. All right, we've exhausted him. Unless you can throw any other accolades on top there, Ray.
Superlatives.
Well,
Superlatives,
he was
there
supposed
you
to be with us today, and where is he at? He's in the gym. He's playing today, and we caught up with him literally as I was about to walk out the door here. But so we've got an interview with him a little bit later here as well. But yeah, I mean, Gabe Watkins, man, he definitely is going to be the leader next year. And
Without
everything's
a doubt.
going to go through Gabe, and that's good. But I think the big thing for him mentally now, he's got to prepare himself for that. Mm-hmm. And this particular season, there was a couple of games I felt like, and I don't want this to come off negative at all, but I think it's like, okay, I know my role, I know what I'm supposed to do, and there's a couple of times I think maybe he needed to step up and say some things, and he's kind of a quiet guy. He just is. But I think this season's a season that he takes a look at what do I need to do to be the man and the leader for the Herculaneum Blackcats.
And as a senior, I think you'll see him step up and do and Cole can speak to that as you get to be the upper class and you understand, okay, now I'm in that leadership role. Mm-hmm. And I'm the guy that's going to need to talk to the team, say things to the team, whether it's motivating them, settling them down, or whatever. But
right.
I have faith in Gabe to get there, just like I have faith in the next gentleman. That's another great segue, I tell you. We're heading back over to the Grandview Eagles, the senior Chase Wilson. First team all-conference player, 1,000 points in the career. Metro area leading in scoring, 3-point scoring, and steals. He led the Eagles in assists, and he was a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports team. A high character, humble individual who is an all-around athlete and just about a great player in whatever he does, guys. And I know we'll see him this summer playing Legion ball for 253, but I don't know where the Eagle boys that had a very challenging season. I don't know where they would have been without him, Scott.
They got. I'm not even going to get into the win-loss record. It was pretty hard to watch for most Eagle fans. I'll just put it that way, and they know it. And I think he probably scored half of their points, and that's probably he might even scored more than half their points. And that's probably not a big exaggeration. Obviously, coming off the injury last year, coming back this year, I was in the gym for when he scored his 1,000th point. It was a great environment, and that was against Herculaneum. Brian Deering actually took the video that I was able to post on Facebook. He's just a guts kid. I mean, he goes out there, he gives it everything he has. And most of the time, you're getting a double team. You're getting a triple team, and he still finds a way to put up 20, 25 points.
Exactly. And the other thing we need to talk about, too, is the fact that he's been able to work through some injuries, too, and come back and just be stronger and better than ever. And, I don't know. Cole, did you have a chance to play against Chase at all in any sports?
No, I did not. No, we did not see Grandview.
All right. Well, Ray, we're certainly familiar with Chase from the baseball field as well.
He vetoed you again.
That's okay.
No. You're on the bench. We're subbing in.
Sorry.
We're subbing in. Yeah.
That makes me the sixth man there,
Yeah,
all right?
that's right.
There you go. Okay. So sixth man says Chase Wilson, the most memorable game we had, they played Pius. I know we had some controversial coaches and maybe even an athletic director or two over there. Sorry, Tilden Watson. But ask us about it. Pius wins the game, but Chase Wilson throws up, I think he had 28 points, something like that, maybe more than that. and I was just, how do you not make this kid player of the game? You know,
Right.
and so he had 3/4 of the points for your team, you know. But and I kid, you know, I know. Coach Watson over there understands and stuff like that, and you have to bring out you know the accolades for performances like that. So you know, I mean, Chase Wilson, just a solid kid. He is a true athlete. You know, he plays 3 sports, so he's you know he's the man over there at Grandview, and you hate to see him go because man, he's exciting to watch.
And the only solace we take, like I said, is the fact that we'll get to see him hopefully this summer quite a bit. So moving on now to our small schools, second team players. And we're going to head down to Perry County now, take a little trip down there and talk about Grant Abernathy, the junior for the St. Vincent Indians. Grant was second team all-conference as well. He led the Indians in scoring, averaging 12.1 points a game, and 3-point percentage, almost 36% per game, and fantastic 84% from the free throw line. I tell you, that's make your free throws, kids. They're free. Nobody's guarding you. Anyway, Grant Abernathy, if you would have asked Colton Richardson who he thought his small schools player of the year was, the guy that gave him the most fits, he would tell you it was Grant Abernathy, and that speaks volumes to Grant. I only got to see him play one game, and he certainly was a force out there. Not the fastest guy on the floor, but certainly a great shot and a great defender.
Yeah, just, you know, a high motor, hustle guy, great teammate, and I didn't get to see him. I think I got to see him play once, but definitely someone that you would want in the trenches and someone who's willing to go in there and die for those loose balls and, you know, try and keep a play alive for his team.
Exactly, and I'm willing to bet that Cole has not seen Grant Abernathy play.
Nope.
All right, Cole, you're still on the bench.
Yeah, that's okay.
Take a breather.
I'll get to the next one. I'll get to the
some
next
water.
You should probably put me on the bench too on that one because I didn't get to see him at all this year. But
well, there you go.
I apologize. So.
And no, that's quite all right. You know, all the games we saw, some of these guys we didn't get to see as much, but we know from talking with others how good they are. So this next guy got to see quite a bit in the last 4 years, and that's Drew Brees, senior for the Jefferson Blue Jays. Drew Brees, second team all-conference, led the Blue Jays in assists and steals. He was a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports team, and Drew, obviously, quarterback for the Blue Jays and all their successful runs here at the state last year as well. Drew did everything that was asked of him and played any role that Coach Brees, his uncle, would direct him on the floor. And he's a kid that he's a fun kid off the court, but kind of an unassuming leader on the floor, leads by example, doesn't get real loud, but really a big, steady guiding force for the Blue Jays. And unfortunately for Drew, I feel like after football, here again, Ray talked about this, slow out of the gate, and the Blue Jays to a team, I think, started really tiring out towards the end of the season, record notwithstanding. But Drew is a solid backcourt guy, and the Blue Jays have been very fortunate to have him the last 4 years.
Got to see him play both sports. How many Breezes are there over there?
500.
Because it was like Coach Breeze, Drew Breeze, Nate Breeze, and I was like, how many more are there? But yeah, just a great athlete, very fun to watch, very nice shot. I think he gets overshadowed a little bit by Richardson, but definitely a solid player and definitely a great addition.
Well, yeah, I think Colton was his tight end on the football field, so Drew got the accolades there more than Colton, although Colton was playing football. But, then Drew was kind of like, overshadowed a little bit by Colton. But I know Cole got to see Drew play.
I did, yes. Sub me back in. I'm ready to sub.
You're back in.
Yeah. There you go. But, yeah, when we played against them, I mean, he was kind of their guy that, you know how I talked about earlier about deep breaths and – everybody relax. He's that kind of guy. He kind of makes sure nobody gets out of hand. Bring the ball up the floor when they need somebody to bring it up the floor. He's their guy to get to that.
Exactly, the guy that you could count on just to, and people don't understand in basketball the role of a guard. How a coach trusting a guard to get the ball up the floor over the timeline. You think that sounds simple, but it's not.
Nope.
That little act itself is very, very crucial.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Drew. I'm not sure what he's going on to do next year, or if he's had any offers. Right now, he's auditioning for the JAH Man of the Year right now with his brother. So that ought to be fun. But
Nice.
moving back to St. Pius now, we have a sophomore making the list, a dynamic sophomore, and that is Patrick Flanagan.
Oops.
Another Flanagan.
You missed one.
Oh, did we?
Before that,
I had Flanagan. No, we had Abernathy and Breeze.
I have DeWilde.
Oh, where's my DeWilde? Oh, I have him at the bottom. Okay.
Okay.
Evan DeWilde. Sorry,
Wait
back
a
to
minute.
St. Vincent.
That's not alphabetical order.
It is alphabetical order.
Not on his, it isn't.
Oh, okay.
It's on yours. Yeah. Throw the flag.
Sorry.
Maybe I need to sit on the bench for a while, Cole.
Where's my sound
Yeah.
effect? Flag gonna play.
Okay, so D comes next in this list. That's
D
right.
comes after
anyway,
B, but before F.
Be that as it may, Evan was a second-team all-conference player as well. He averaged 10 points a game to go along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists per game. Senior leader, he was their physical presence. He's another big football guy, Cole. I don't know if he's going on to school next year someplace, it was going to be for football because he was their everything, middle linebacker, fullback type,
Oh, yeah.
So the guy that was at small school, he plays football, fullback, and then he plays middle linebacker. You know the guy.
Yeah,
that guy.
those are scary guys.
Yeah, the scary guy. So
Yeah.
he was definitely that big senior presence there. And I don't know, did you get to see Evan play at all?
I think I got to see one game. I don't remember if it was this year or last year, but he was kind of like the yin to Abernathy's yang. And like I said, it was just a good complement player and, obviously, a good glue guy.
I like that, the yin to the yang. I like that. And Cole, it's all right.
I
Back on
know.
the bench.
Back out.
You're back out. It's
Keep me
All
out
right.
too, because I didn't get to see him at all this year.
Well, Ray, what comes next after D? I'm a little
Well,
confused.
E, but also F.
F. So next we're going to do Patrick Flanagan. There we go.
Now we're
Sorry,
back on
Patrick.
track.
It's your turn now. And then another Flanagan makes the list. This time on the boys' side, sophomore from St. Pius, second all-conference team. Averaged 10 points a game for the Lancers, led the team in free throw percentage, tied for the team lead in assists with 56. Helped the Lancers to an 18-9 record and conference championship and a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standout teams. And got to see him burst on the scene last year late in the season. For the Lancers, and as they went in through district play, and he certainly made his presence felt this year for St. Pius, Scotty.
We should have held this on St. Patrick's Day with all these Flanagans.
Right.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
But I got to see him play quite a bit. He's such a facilitator. Obviously, you have Rubel and you have all those other weapons, but I mean, he had a nice 3-point shot, but for the most part, he did an excellent job of taking care of the ball and facilitating his other weapons.
Very, very good point. Very just impressed with facilitator. I can't top that word. That's exactly the best word I can use to describe Flanagan. What a true guard does. He's a facilitator, and I'm going to assume that Cole has not played against Patrick.
I have not, no.
Flanagan. So,
Heard of
any
him,
of the
though.
Flanagans?
So I'm sure you've heard of a Flanagan.
All right. Well, you may have to grab a clipboard for a while now.
Yeah, I
so-
got to take some notes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grab a clipboard. Just sit. Be the
Chase
be
Daniel
the,
made a great career with the
Oh my
clipboard.
gosh, how
trust
many
me.
millions
Tell
of
me
dollars
about
has he
it.
made?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Over 40, right?
All right.
Golly, amazing.
Unbelievable.
Ray, I know that you're a big Patrick Flanagan fan.
Patrick Flanagan. Yeah, the dude's a scrapper, man. He pretty much can do anything you need him to do, probably except dunk. But don't surprise me if he would be able to do that as well. But Coach Miller has put him in a lot of different positions and in a lot of different places this year, and St. Pius wasn't anything flashy this year, but they got the job done. They did everything they had to this year to beat Herculaneum, and that's really what it kind of came down to. And I knew that was the big key for Chris Miller's St. Pius X Lancers. So you get past Herculaneum, and usually a lot of the kind of just falls in place. But with a kid like Patrick Flanagan, he can steal the ball for you. He can hold on to the ball for you. He can manage and he can handle it. And the great part about it is he's only a junior,
Sophomore.
sophomore. So there you go.
Well, you mentioned scrappy, and that's something I should have talked about, is the fact that he's got a little fire at times,
Yes.
and I like that. I know last year he had some great battles as a freshman with Colby Ott. Colby was working on him quite a bit for R7, but that was fun to watch those two go at each other. But Ray, we're down to our final member of the boys' second team here, and that is from Herculaneum, the senior, Mr. Dallin Fuller. And Mr. Fuller is a second-team all-conference player as well, area leader in block shots. He averaged 13 points a game, in addition to leading the Black Cats in rebounds and block shots. And he also was a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports Standout team, Scott. And Dallin had an interesting season, kind of up and down. At times he seemed dominant in certain games, and then other times maybe not so much. And I think it's only that consistency that knocks him down from a first-team player to a second-team player.
100%. Dunk you very much. But
Dunk City.
Mr. Fuller was kind of one of those enigmas on the basketball court, because you would see him go out there and like a first quarter, he would go out there and make a concerted effort to get offensively involved, and then he would kind of disappear for a couple of quarters. And then he'd, show up, 3-4 minutes left in the game. But it was like, if he was able to keep that effort the whole way, he might be in that conversation that we had about, okay, who's the player of the year? Because he's got all the skills. He's got the talent. He's got the length. He's got the instincts. It's just it seems like he takes his foot off the pedal at times.
Yeah, that I think that encapsulates it.
All of that.
Or it encompasses it. Either one. Either one.
You just
folks.
went to 3 different words. Wow.
Too many syllables there involved. And Cole, please tell me that you got to see Dallin Fuller
I did. I saw him
right.
when
Cole, back in the game.
Back in. Check me back in. But, yeah, you're exactly right when describing him. I mean, that Christmas tournament game, you saw him, 2 quick buckets, block, a couple rebounds, running up and down the floor, and then 2 quarters of, he's still in the game. It's just like, I understand completely the inconsistency that you're talking about.
Well, there you go. Cole has provided us and made us look like geniuses
Analysis.
once again. So, Ray, anything to add to that?
Cole has a job here at Livestream STL.
No
Let's
kidding.
just put it
Anytime he
that way.
wants one.
Cole and Abby. I've already talked to Abby
Yeah,
all the time. I talk to her all the time. So, but yeah, I mean, with Dallin, you're right. I mean, you take a look at 1, 2, 3 games in a row, and man, he's just nails. And you get another game here where he just kind of struggles here and there. But I will say this year I've seen something that Coach Jarvis has really been trying to preach to him a little bit is, work into that confidence that you have. Work in, and there were times that he did. And I mean, you saw him go absolutely bonkers, Dunk City, things like that, and on multiple occasions. But, again, there's times when you can't put your finger on it, because if you could put your finger on it, you fix it and you move on and everything's right. But, just at times, he's a Fuller. I went to high school with Fuller, Mike Fuller, and he was a tall, lanky kid, just like Dallin. And he, Mike's a little bit different, but, Dallin, to me, I felt like, kind of like Gabe, had a really good beginning of the season. Middle of the season, you struggle in here and there, and you work through it. But he's going to be all right. And all of a sudden, he's in a position now to where by the end of the season, he knew what he could do and what he couldn't do.
Exactly. Well, gentlemen, we have worked through all of our small school selections. Let's take a break and we come back. Let's talk some big school JCA basketball on the boys and girls side. You're watching the Main Street Sports Show right here on Livestream STL.
Tire Bargains, your one-stop destination for all your vehicle's needs. Established in 1985, we offer the best deals on all major tire brands, custom wheels, and lift kits. But we do so much more than just make your vehicle look good. We also help make sure it rides and drives good by offering a full range of repair and inspection services, including alignments. Whether it's custom accessories or repair work, Tire Bargains has you covered. Tire Bargains is located at 2100 Truman Boulevard in Crystal City. Give us a call today at 636-937-0021.
Today, the air is perfect. Inside. Expect more from your heating and cooling. Daikin.
We are here for the health and well-being of Jefferson County.
We are here at county schools, private schools, and Jefferson College to serve students.
We are here providing mental health services for children and adults.
Providing dental care, doctor visits, wellness exams, and immunizations at our school-based health centers.
Still respond to the demand for COVID vaccines and testing at ComTree clinics.
Join 1 in 20 residents in the county.
We are here.
We are here.
We are here.
We invite you to become a member of the ComTree family tree.
Mama's on the Hill, home of the original toasted ravioli. For reservations, gift cards, and banquet and catering inquiries, contact them at 314-776-3100, located at 2132 Edwards in St. Louis, Missouri. Check them out on the web on mamasonthehill.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive holiday offers.
I'm Scott Seek, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we'll focus on what's important to you. We'll create a personalized financial strategy backed by our advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we'll partner to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me today at 636-937-8081. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Hey, Dalen, check this out. It says right here, your father and I are second cousins. We're related.
Well, if that's the case, you owe me a graduation present.
Very funny.
At least you can say you're related to an all-conference and all-district baseball player. How does that feel?
I will admit, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Hey, Dalen.
Yeah?
At least you could say you're related to a famous sports media person. What's that like?
I wouldn't know. But I do know to watch the Main Street Sports Show on Livestream SDL.
The Main Street Sports Show, shining a light in Jefferson County.
Very funny.
And we are back with our second half here. We're going to do the large schools here. Turn it over here to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeff Whitener.
Hi, everybody. I'm the guy who can't talk today, but I'm going to try to talk anyway for you.
Whitener Lightning.
Large schools first team. Here we go. Starting off, and I have these in alphabetical order, by the way. From the Festus Tigers, Josie Allen. First team, all-conference co-MVP, all-district player, averaged 16 points, 3 assists and 3 steals a game, among the metro area leaders in scoring and assists. She helped her team to a 15-8 record in second place in the JCAA Large Schools Conference. This is Josie's second consecutive selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team, and she was a unanimous selection. Scott.
I don't think I got to see her play this year. I think I saw her play last year.
I think you did. That's right. Here again, a great facilitator for her team. Asked to play maybe a little bit of a different role this year for the Tigers, a little bit, but certainly a huge, huge contributor. And I know that Cole Rickerman has seen her play.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about her.
But awesome.
But yeah, I mean, she really holds this team together. I mean, she's great facilitator. She can get baskets whenever baskets are needed. I mean, she's the girl that all the teams are like, hey, in the game plan, no, that's our first checkpoint. Stop Josie Allen. And I think she's going to be a whole lot of trouble next year for a whole lot of teams.
Well, he said that very well, very, very, very tactfully,
like
very
that.
nice. Who's the better basketball player between you and Josie?
I can't go against myself. I mean, I can do this, and she can't touch it. So.
All right, we'll move right along now, and we're sticking with the Festus Tigers. Compadre, teammate, companion of Josie Allen, and that's Kinsey Benek. First team all-conference player, averaged 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals a game. Led the Tigers in free throw percentage with 68%. Her second selection to our Standouts team, and she helped the Tigers to second place in the JCAA Large Schools Conference. And Kinsey, for me, I know she's played well. She played well last year, but she's kind of a major surprise for me this year in the way she was able to contribute to the team and really took a little bit of a different role, a bigger role, and Josie maybe had a little bit of a different role too. With Kinsey coming on as strong, it allowed Josie to do some other things. And as you said, you probably didn't get to see Festus play.
I think I saw her knock somebody down last year going for a rebound.
But can you talk a little bit about Colin Riendo's girlfriend?
Yeah. Well, she's the girl. I mean, that whole Festus team. I mean, it depends on the day who's going to do the scoring, who's going to be their person, which is really interesting to me. And she was, if it wasn't Josie, it's got to be Kinsey, and it was. And she is able to do that, and she was able to knock down mid ranges. I mean, she was deadly from mid range, able to play good defense, and yeah, she was pretty good this year.
And as you said, Josie is the person that your other team has to scheme against, has to figure out how to put her number one on the list, and that here again freed up Kinsey. If they focus on Kinsey, it frees up Josie. Yep. It's a double threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Kinsey Benek has had a chance to kind of come into herself this particular season. Again, you're right. Josie did take a little bit of a different route this year from the role she had last season, and I think that only makes your team better when you're able to adjust over time and things like that. And I think talking briefly to Josie from time to time, she didn't seem like she had a problem with that adjustment. So that's always a good thing from Coach McFarland and the Festus Tigers. So I mean, what that can do is that can absolutely open up doors for folks, down the road the next year, the next year, and it sure looks like that is what the plan is for the Festus Tigers.
Festus Tigers, boys and girls, are in a situation right now where they're able to reload for sure. Well, let's talk about their main chief rival in our JCAA large schools, and that is the Hillsboro Hawks. And next up, we have the sophomore Kaylee Hinton. And Kaylee, as a sophomore, was voted by the coaches the first team all-conference. She averaged 13 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 block shots, 3 assists a game. 7th in the entire metro area in rebounds, 13th in block shots. And in my opinion here, the last bullet point, a dominating post player with great footwork. I was really pleasantly surprised when I got to see her play this year, what she was able to do on the floor. And she's going to be a problem for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got to see her play against, I think, Windsor.
It was a Windsor, yep.
And I'm blanking on the coach's name. It's Andrew
Hubbard.
I play softball with him from years gone by. But, yeah, obviously a big feather in his cap to have her kind of ascend the way she has this year. And obviously he's kind of got that program trending in the right area, and she definitely is going to be someone to watch.
Cole, did you get to see Kaylee play this year?
I saw them play against Festus at Festus about mid-season, and she was definitely their go-to girl. I mean, she was able to she was really, really dominant in the post, able to get good rebounds, and yeah, she was really their best player.
Just a physical presence, but also good footwork and knew. She's just not a big under there. She actually knew what she was doing and really had some good moves. Ray, Miss Hilton?
Yeah, I'll just jump right on top of here of what Scott had said. That the coverage that we did with them over at Windsor, didn't she kind of came out of nowhere, didn't she? Mm-hmm. She really did. I mean, and was able to keep people in check like Peyton Montgomery, from getting lots of big points and things like that. And then by the second half of that game, she really just kind of came into her own and kind of took that game over. So, great post player. You talk about that, definitely great footwork.
Next up, we have on our list, going back down to Perry County, and we're going to talk about Brooklyn Mall, the sophomore for the Perryville Pirates. And, wow, this kid, all kinds of athletic, great speed, great. I mean, kind of like a power forward, like a Scottie Pippen type for Perryville. First team all conference, averaged 12 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals per game. Helped lead her team to a third consecutive JCAA Large Schools Championship. And Perryville, guys, was loaded this year with athletes, and they're loaded on this list with athletes. A great job by Coach Fulton and Coach Dreyer down there with the girls team. And Scott, I didn't know you get to see Brooklyn play. I don't think I did. That Hal, Ray, and I did when they played Festus, and very, very impressed with this young lady. But I know you were at that game as well. I believe.
She did a great job. I mean, she really, they did a great job. I mean, I don't really have much to say. I mean, that Perryville team was dominant. I mean, all 5 of them worked together completely well. They had girls come off the bench. I mean, they were really solid.
Yeah, just very, very impressed with their style of play, how they played together as a team. Ray, anything that you would like to add to that?
Not a lot, other than solid. I mean, that team was solid all season this year, and knew what they could do, knew what they didn't have to worry about, and they just took care of business this year.
I like that.
JCAA champs.
That's right. Well, we're going to stay with the Perryville Pirates here because no first team would be out complete without Kyla Schnurbush, the junior from Perryville, first team all-conference co-MVP by the coaches. All-district player, averaged 14 points, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 6 rebounds per game. Among the area leaders in scoring and assists, and helped her team to a third straight conference championship. And so impressed with Kyla. She, just so talented in so many different ways on the court to help her team to win. On a team full of great players, she still stood out for me, and that was really remarkable. With the cast that she had around her, guys, and just a winner and a competitor in every sense of the word. And I know you were there that night when really that game was for the conference championship for all intents and purposes between Festus and Perryville, and for them to be able to come in there on Festus' home court and play the way they did, and Kyla was a big part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she was their big facilitator. I mean, she was able to score for them. She dished the ball. I mean, she even got rebounds for them, which was really impressive to me. And yeah, she kind of facilitated that, let their whole ebb and flow get together, and let them all start playing really well.
Exactly, and I think she was our player of the game that night.
I believe so.
If I'm not mistaken, Ray, and I didn't get a chance to see what you talked to her about that night, but you certainly got to see her play.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely the leader of the pack there, and holds herself well. That's the big thing that I took away from that. Calm, cool, collected, and just is able to steer that Perryville Pirates team exactly where they needed to, and get that JCAA Large School Girls Championship.
Steered the pirate ship. Is that what you're saying?
She did.
All right. Well, now we're going to move on to the second team now on the large school side. And from the Windsor Owls, making another appearance, and she's made several on this team, the junior Reagan Daly. She's been on our radar since she was a freshman. Second team all-conference. Led the Owls in scoring, averaging 10 points per game. Second on the team in assists and steals. Their third consecutive selection to our Main Street Sports Standout team, and a unanimous selection to that team this year. And Reagan, here again, you talk about players that have had different roles, and she's probably had a different role for the Owls in all 3 seasons. And she's adapted and played well. Very high IQ on the court, very athletic, Scott.
Just an all-around great team player. And like I said, if you need her to be the scorer, she'll be the scorer. You need her to get rebounds, she'll get rebounds. If you want to go out and help on a double team, she does everything a coach could ask. Just a great team player.
Exactly. Did you get to see Reagan play at all?
No, I did not. No.
Okay. All right. So while we sub in for Cole here, we're going to head it over to Ray.
Subbing in for Cole Rickerman. That just sounds weird.
That sounds wrong.
That sounds totally wrong.
Our bench is very short, very weak.
I haven't played basketball in over 30 years, so there you go. It just tells you where we're at. But Reagan Daly, we saw her the last couple of years. I mean, she was a 3-point machine. This particular year, I kind of feel like she kind of had to take on a role of maturity. and being able to share the ball a little bit, because a lot of times when you're the 3-person, you're expected to put up a lot of big numbers and be the flashy person. But Reagan Daly had to kind of come into her own and kind of change some things. And Coach Schmidt over there, didn't have a problem with kind of making those changes, and might not have looked great on the the win-loss record at times, but I think next year is going to be the year she puts this whole thing together, and you see a more well-rounded Reagan Daly.
Well, that will be not good news for the rest of the conference.
That's right.
For sure. Also making our second team list back at Perryville, the senior Sierra Ellers, second team all conference, averaged 10 points a game for the Lady Pirates. And here again, it's like all 5 of their starters averaged at least 10 points a game, 3 assists, 3 steals. You can just plug and play. Helped her team to a 3rd consecutive conference championship, gave the team their senior leadership and experience on the floor. And this is Sierra's 2nd selection to the Main Street Sports Standouts team. And I don't know, guys, what else we can say about that as far as what she was, just another player, the senior player, who they could plug in, and it's like they all were able to adopt that same role, especially on the scoring side, guys.
What team has that kind of luxury?
Right.
Exactly. But Ray, you remember seeing Sierra play?
Trying to briefly, you mentioned she was the senior there. My guess, and I'm guessing a little bit on this, but would be the amount of experience she's able to bring and help be a part of that. Again, a very, very calm, cool, collected Perryville Pirates team, and again, like they got it done this year, and you got to just tip your cap to them, and it had a great season.
When I asked them before their Festus game, I joked around with the girls as they were getting ready to come out of the locker room and they're standing over there, and I said, okay, which one of you is going to be our Main Street Sports player of the game? To a girl, they said, we're going to win it as a team. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what they've done, and that's kind of their identity. It's amazing to watch. But all right, we're going to move on from Perryville now up the road to DeSoto, and we're going to talk about the senior Trista Grobe. Trista makes our list as a second-team player. She was also second-team all-conference among the metro area leaders in steals and rebounds. Led the Dragons in scoring, 12 points per game, free throw percentage, steals, and rebounds, and just a terrific all-around athlete. She is also going to play softball at Three Rivers College, and Trista was a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports Standouts team, and when I think of her, I think of competitor, all-around athlete.
Yep.
How many sports does she play?
I know, right?
Probably everything they can do down there. I'm surprised she doesn't wrestle.
Probably give her a bow and arrow, and she could probably hit a bullseye, too.
Yeah,
she's just one of those talents who's just like, she's just athletic. You give her a sport, you give her a concept, and it seems like she will make it adapt to her talent, and she will find a way to be successful.
Exactly. Cole, did you get to see Trista play at all?
No, I did not, but it seems like she's kind of that all-around type of player and probably did good things for them this year.
There you go. Well, Ray, we're very familiar with Trista from the softball field.
Pure athlete, man. I'll tell you, pure athlete. And we did get to catch her for one game this season against DeBerg. And, girls basketball team's down a little bit. Boys basketball team's down a little bit over DeSoto. But the big highlight, Trista over there on the girls' side, and was able to, if I remember right, she put up double figures in the game that we covered. So, that just attributes to just being a pure athlete, and you can see that and see why she's going to Three Rivers on a softball scholarship, because she's pretty doggone good softball player.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna sub Cole back in now, because we're going to talk about a Festus Tiger, a senior, and that is Emily Holt. And Emily is our second-team all-conference player. She's a metro area leader in steals. She led the Tigers in rebounds, helped her team to a second-place finish in the large schools conference, and was a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports Standouts team. And her, along with her twin brother, as we found out today, both very good athletes for the Tigers. And Cole, talk a little bit about Emily Holt, if you can.
I think she really came into her role this year on this Festus team. I mean, last year it's kind of she and another girl, Lily Nickman, they kind of dipped their toes in the water last year. I mean, they weren't really full. Didn't seem like they were full of confidence and ready to go dominate. And this year, I mean, she was just all over the place, grabbing rebounds. I mean, putting up tough buckets, and she played great defense. I mean, she was a really good contributing part to the Festus team.
And I skipped over you, Scotty, because I didn't think you saw Festus play. So
I did not.
We tapped Cole on the shoulder and come.
I was going to do the hot tag, like they do in wrestling.
Okay. Yeah. Ray, your thoughts on Emily Holt?
Yeah, we had Emily Holt, I believe, as a player of the game, one game this season, and I'll tell you just the amount of time again that I guess you talk about the sharing of the baton, so to speak, with the Festus Tigers. Though you got Josie, you got Emily, you got all those different folks, and she was one of those ones that was able to come into her own as well, as far as just developing this season. So that one game we had, I'm trying to remember who they were playing, but she just had a really dominant performance, and kudos to Emily.
Absolutely. Well, our fifth and final girl here on the second team comes from Hillsboro, and that is the sophomore Bailey Scallett. Bailey was an honorable mention all-conference player on the coaches poll. She makes our second team here among the metro area leaders in steals and assists. This is her second selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team, and was a unanimous selection this year as well. And Bailey, I did not get to see play a whole lot live in person. Got to see a little video of her playing, but much the same player, although mature on just great on defense, just being able to plug in and really kind of learning much better passing this year than I thought she was in her freshman year. She's growing and maturing a little bit. Scotty, did you get to see Bailey play this year?
I did get to see her in the one game, and I will kind of throw out a pretty good accolade here. I think there's echoes of P.J. Crodinger and Scallett. One of those, you can see that there's incremental progress, and next year I think big things should be expected from Scallett.
I think, it's a continuing growth and maturity process for her. And like you said,
Coach Hubbard, he'll pull it right out just like that, magician's scarf. He'll figure it away.
Exactly. Cole, any thoughts on Bailey?
No, not a whole lot. Congratulations for making it. That's all I got.
Well, there you go. Congratulations from Cole Rickerman.
Right.
It's pretty high honor right there. So, Ray, your thoughts on Bailey?
Yeah, I think this particular season was a good developing season for her. Got high hopes for her next season. She's I really think the amount of time she's working, with the team and things like that. But like I said, I think that this particular year, the developing year, you look for her next year to come out and be able to grab some more experience as she goes for the Hillsboro Hawks.
Exactly, and I think she's having the benefit of being able to play all 4 years on the floor is an underclassman too. That's going to help her grow along with her teammate Kaylee Hilton.
Yep.
All right, we're moving over to the large school boys now. First team, gentlemen. Guy that we all know very well from the Festus Tigers, junior Armad Branch. And Armad was first team all-conference, all-district, led Festus in scoring, assists, steals, and free throw percentage. He was among the metro area leaders in assists and steals. Helped the Tigers to a 21-6 record and large school conference championship. This is Armad's second consecutive selection to the Standouts team and a unanimous decision as well. And I don't know what other accolades we can throw at Armad's way other than the fact that he played football this year. And I don't know if the transition from football to basketball, it just seemed that he had just maybe a couple games stretch there where he might not have been as consistent that he was the previous year for the Tigers. And I don't know if that was for the addition of another sport and the transition there as well. But Armad, certainly one of the gold standards in this county for basketball still. And amazing to see what he can do on the court, Scott.
He's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Very talented young man. Got to watch him play last year, and he had a lot of those wow moments. And he just, there's nothing he can't do except possibly be 7 foot tall. But he just has the whole package, and you can see he works hard. You can see he's thinking, and, pairing him with someone like a Rickerman, I mean, that's just not fair.
Who's that guy?
He's always had,
Never heard of him.
He's always had the ability, but his basketball IQ just seems, it continues to grow, develop, and sharpen. And I know we're short on time, but I've got it. That story, the game that you guys played against R7, and we were there. Everybody was there that night. There was a ball going out of bounds with the far right corner. And that ball had to be already 20 feet out of bounds. And all of a sudden, he came out of nowhere and was able to knock that ball back into play.
20 feet may be a slight exaggeration.
Possible, but there is nobody else in that gym that
would
could have
have
made that play.
Cape.
And that was one of those moments where you guys were on the air. I was at the PA, and everybody was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Everybody, the crowd, it was just a silly little thing like that, but it was so electrifying, at the moment. Cole, have you ever heard of Armand Branch before?
I believe it or not, I have. Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk about him a little bit?
He's really a special athlete. I mean, he's a special guy. I mean, we're close off any athletics whatsoever. We're close. I mean, he can get it done no matter what type of sport you give him. I mean, football, he's going to be one special player. I think he's going to get a whole lot of attention coming up this next year. Even in basketball, he's going to be the dude, and he'll be the dude for a long time, even in the next 4 years coming. I can tell you that right now.
All right. Well, put that down, write that down, and I have no reason to doubt Mr. Rickerman here with his analysis. He's an incredible athlete, yes, but it's whatever the sport, it's the IQ of that sport that he has that impresses me just as much. Ray, anything you top on that?
I'll top it, and I'll just put my prediction out there. He'll be Player of the Year next year.
Wow. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Something to shoot for all the rest
there
of the
you have
players
it.
in
I've
the large
said
school conference. All right, we'll set Armand aside for the moment and talk about another Festus Tiger. He was a senior this year.
You're not in.
Oh, I'm not in order again. Who do we have next? I'm sorry. Show it, Ray.
Some dude from Windsor.
Windsor. Would that be Max Hartman?
That would be Max Hartman.
Max Hartman. I don't know why my list is out of order here. Windsor Owls junior Max Hartman. Sorry, Max. He's first-team all-conference area leader in
How many
three-point
ends
scoring.
in Hartman?
Probably 2. Yeah, 2.
Well, hold on a second.
He gives you 2 end guys no respect.
Give me one quick second.
It's okay.
Give me one quick second.
My
I'll
debit
fix
card
that right
still.
now.
There you go. Hey, all right. Max led the Owls in scoring and steals. High motor, high work ethic, and effort. Max was a unanimous selection to the Main Street sports team. I know he worked really hard during the season and prior to the season, off-season with Sonny Amabile, a recent grad from Windsor and a MOBAP basketball player, and it really showed. Max Hartman, the heart and soul of the Windsor Owls, I'll say that. What do you think about that, Scotty?
When you talk about, seniors leaving and then you gotta kind of step into a void, he did that, and you could see the confidence in his ability and his decision-making to be a leader. That's what I get when I see Max Hartman. He's just a leader. He's that guy. He's not afraid of the moment, and that's the kind of guy you want at the heart of your team.
And he's thrived under the tutelage of Coach McCarthy over there. I think they're cut from the same mold when it comes to competitiveness and energy. So did you have to go up against Max?
Yeah, I mean, when we played them the second time, he's a really good athlete. I mean, he could do it all. I mean, he would rebound, shoot it, score it. I mean, whatever you wanted him to do, he'd do it. And he didn't play the first time, and I think the first time we played them, he did not play, and I think he was their key to their success. Definitely. I mean, he really brought them together and gave us a little scare whenever they were up on us by like I think 10 or so at halftime. The second time we played them. And he was the reason up for that.
I tell you what, when you look at some of their up-and-coming players, Windsor's going to be a problem the next few years.
Yep, I think those
100%.
Those guys they're all upperclassmen technically, a lot of juniors, but they never really had that leadership role like Sonny had. And I think coming in this next year, I think Windsor's going to be a real problem.
So much speed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ray, I know you agree with us on Windsor being a problem.
I
what
agree.
about Max Hartman being a problem?
Yeah, so, we've caught a couple of their games this season. One game I know he was out actually, and I think he just taken kind of more of a heel day. But the next game that we caught him, man, dude's on fire. And you're right, he can be a problem. And so I think the the pride of Windsor there this season that was attributed to a lot of Max Hartman's success right there.
And hopefully we get a chance to see him on the baseball field. A great baseball player, as well as his older brother is pitching for Mineral Area College this year. But speaking of pitch, I'm going to make a pitch now for our third player on the list, and that's Noah Holland. I got that right, guys.
You
I got
did get it right.
Alphabetical, yeah. Junior Hillsborough Hawks, first-team all-conference player, all-district player, and among the metro area leaders in scoring, assists, and block shots. And I must confess, I did not get to see much of Noah Holland this year. Scotty, did you get to see the Noah play for the Hawks?
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
we're going to
good thing we have Cole here to step up and take charge for us here.
Sneaky athlete is what he is. I mean, he gave me fits. I mean, I had to give him my best focus. I mean, to stop him, to even give him a chance to not score whenever we played against him. I mean, we played against him, and I didn't know how good he actually was. He played with us one time in the summer last year, but going into the season, we all played together. We were down in Kentucky, and we are doing layup lines. Everybody's shooting layups, and I just see Noah over the head just slam it down. And I was, wow. I mean, it was incredible, and it really made me realize how incredible of an athlete he is, and he is going to be the heart and soul of that Hillsborough team next year.
Absolutely. From where I sit, he's just kind of been like quietly amassing all these statistics and just pretty amazing. Ray, what are your thoughts on Noah?
Yeah, same thing here. We didn't really get a chance to see them very much this year. Kept seeing him all the time in the standings, though, all the time as a leader. And so, one of the things I know, over there with Coach Johnson is they like to score quick and score often, and it's just a tribute to the speed. So you got guys like Holland and our next guy, which I'll go ahead and jump to the next guy. That Kyle Phipps guy.
I was afraid I wouldn't get the P before the R.
That Kyle Phipps guy. So,
that's right.
But we'll talk, and I'll talk about Kyle Phipps, and I'll throw it over to you real quick. But Kyle Phipps was our fast break player of the week, second week I believe it was, first or second week, and man, he just come out of the chute that tournament, that Christmas tournament, I think is what attributed to that. Just an amazing play. He played pretty well over Christmas break.
Kyle Phipps made first-team all-conference. He was 8th in the entire metro area in scoring. All-district player, led the Hawks in scoring and three-point scoring, free throw percentage, and a unanimous selection to the Main Street sports team. And a guy that, not the biggest guy, but he's the shooter, and he just came out of nowhere here as a senior. And really wasn't, me personally, on my radar going into this season, and maybe you guys can talk a little bit more about that, but he just had a phenomenal senior season.
Sometimes you blossom late.
I'm still waiting to blossom.
Well, over to Cole.
It was really his breakout year. I mean, last year he was kind of more of a supporting role coming off the bench. I think this year, since Hillsborough, this is their down year, even though they were still a pretty good basketball team. He really had a chance to shine and show what his capabilities are. I mean, when we were playing in middle school, he would give us buckets. I mean, give us buckets in middle school, give us absolute fits, and he was really able to show who he actually was this year, and it was really nice to see.
He's the guy that coaches are always yelling at from the sideline, shooter, when he comes in the game. So, well, who does that leave? Now, let's see. We've gone through B, H, P. Anyone else? Cole Rickerman. Yeah, okay. Never heard of him. That's Cole Rickerman, first-team all-conference player and player of the year. All-district, led the Tigers in scoring, three-point scoring, block shots, free throw percentage, being an all-around nice guy. Helped the Tigers to 21-6 record and large school conference championship. Signed to play football as a quarterback for Lincoln University. And, of course, a unanimous selection to the Main Street Sports Standout team. And when I think of Cole Rickerman, and this is the word that so many people use over and over and over again, is just absolute consistency. Game in, game out, quarter in, quarter out, just every time. And that is so hard to do in any sport, in any walk of life, actually. And to give that kind of high-level play at such a consistent level, just amazing. And that's all I can say about Cole Rickerman.
Is this weird for you?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. A little out-of-body experience going on here. I've got the privilege to call quite a few of your games, and as the play-by-play, I mean, it would be Rickerman. Rickerman gets a hand in the passing lane. Rickerman with the assist. Rickerman with the shot, and it was just. You didn't seem to take plays off. It seemed like you were always engaged. It seemed like defensively you didn't sit there and, rest with your hands on your hips, just even if you were in like a zone or something where you didn't really have much of a responsibility, you were constantly, peripheral vision, constant, checking the play. You were kind of looking like the back door, what am I supposed to be focusing on? And then on offense, it just some of those games you had, it was like, man, that's just pretty to watch.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I was kind of priding myself this year on hard work and being confident with myself and just knowing that I can probably be one of the best people out here, not just offensively but defensively. And I think I really took pride in my defensive status this year, being able to being assigned mostly the best player on each team throughout every game. I really took pride in that. I really wanted to show that I can do things on both sides of the court.
Yeah.
And you did it well.
Thank you.
Cole, let me just say this. You say everything right. You do everything right. You do it the right way. And that just, to me, is just leaps and bounds. I mean, you do it the right way in football. You do it the right way in basketball. You're a track and field guy, right?
I'm a golfer.
You're a golfer, yes.
I am a golfer, yeah.
On the golf team?
You told the wrong guy.
Nice, all right. You're on the golfer. So I love that. But, it's hard to come across guys like you that, number one, 3/4 of the folks don't know what kind of effort you have to put in off season. You have to put in, to lift, to do this, to do that, to do all these different sports. But then to come in here and do something like this with us too, I think is really awesome too. So, but kudos to you, man. And I know we're probably going to do a little bit more interview stuff with you here in just a little bit, but that's why you're here. So, but man, kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you.
He's here because he gives us excellent, instant credibility, guys.
That's it.
But yeah, I don't know what else you can say about Cole other than it's been an honor to watch you play the last 4 years.
Thank you.
It really has been. Let's move to the second team, guys, real quick. We'll talk about the junior from the Hillsboro Hawks, Kieran Jones. All-conference honorable mention by the coaches poll. Metro area leader in rebounds and block shots. Solid defender in the post. And you can probably speak more about Mr. Jones a little bit and his role for the.
I mean, he's their go-to post player. I mean, he moves really well for being a big guy. I mean, he can get around. He can play defense. He can guard smaller people. He's a good shot blocker. He's a great rebounder. He can get good buckets underneath the basket whenever you need him to. He's a really good asset to that Hillsboro team.
There you go. Ray, do you have any thoughts on Mr. Jones, or do you want to move on to our second?
I don't know a whole lot about him, but I'll tell you one thing. Again, we mentioned that before about Dan Johnson's teams. Is they may have been a little bit down this year, but look for him to come back and bounce back.
Absolutely. Next, we have Mr. Patrick, I believe.
Yes.
A.J. Patrick from the Windsor Owls, the sophomore. Second team all-conference, averaged 10 points a game. He led the Owls in rebounds and block shots and was a unanimous selection to the Main Street standout team, and another young, exciting player to watch for the Windsor Owls.
They had like a whole pack of roadrunners. It was just crazy. We watched them play, and I forget the team they were playing, but the team that they were playing was favored to win handily. And they, I think up until like the last couple of minutes where they finally ran out of gas, they were leading. They were up by like 4 or 5 points the whole way. But, I mean, that whole team, you could just see it. And there was all underclassmen. It was so crazy, but it was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Cole, thoughts on Mr. Patrick?
Yeah. Well, he's scrappy. I mean, real scrappy. I mean, he does all the dirty work for that team. I mean, he'll go and fight for rebounds, even despite being maybe 6 foot tall, and he's a real hard worker. He's a real hard worker for them. Like I said, that Windsor team is something that needs to be watched out for in coming years.
Well, there you go.
Definitely, I'd say the exact same thing. The scrap that he's got with, Coach McCarthy's, the way they run things over there. Watch out because he's coming back. So you take a look, give him another year of experience, and watch out. Right? Absolutely.
Let's move on to our third player on the list now, Ray. And I believe that is from the Festus Tigers, senior Eric Roos. Second team all-conference, area leader in rebounds, averaging 11 points per game for the Tigers. Signed to play football at Murray State University, and Eric was a unanimous selection to our Main Street Sports Standout team. He ended up in second. Ray actually had him on his first team ballot. We've seen Eric dominate, take over games at times as a big post player. Fun to watch, fun to get to know this year, this young man, and his personality a little bit. And it's going to leave a big hole for the Tigers as he graduates this year, Scott.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever he scored, wouldn't the crowd go Roos? I believe they did, and I got to see him play. I wanted to say 1 or 2 games, and dude was just a beast. The one time I did see him get the better of, where he was going up against Richardson, but other than that, dude is just a monster.
Absolutely. Well, speak about your tight end there in football.
He was a great addition. Coming from North County from last year, he just slid right into it, and he solved any of the issues that we had. We're going into next season. We have no size. We didn't know about Demarion Anderson, if he was going to be back, how healthy he was going to be. Was he going to be the same player? And then Eric came right in and kind of settled that debate. He came in and dominated for us for football and basketball, and kind of let Demarion grow right into his own spot.
That's a perfect way of saying it. He really was he solved that puzzle for you. He was that piece that solved that puzzle, right?
Dude was a side of beef, man. I'm just saying. I'm telling you, man. His dad graduated about a year ahead of me, and different type of person. Daddy Doug, he was kind of a running back and things like that, I think he played a little bit of baseball too. But Eric, total different style person, man. And he's a kind of that guy that will unleash the beast when needed, and that's definitely been a huge help for Festus this year.
Well, Ray, who do we have up next to talk about?
You want to make sure you get it right.
That's right.
How about Brenton Shirk?
Brenton Shirk. He's for the Windsor Owls. He's another sophomore. Another one of those guys. It's one of the Red Runners, second team all-conference. Who is Brenton Shirk? Averaged 9 points a game, 74% free throw shooter, and led the Owls in assists and steals. And I don't know, just another one of those runners like Patrick's is just going to be a problem for the next few seasons.
I know. And someone's got to get, the other scorers the ball, and he was one of those guys. I kind of saw him, he wasn't, obviously your primary scoring option, but he could score a bucket if he needed to. But, he just had a quick step, and he had great court vision.
Yeah. And I think he was a great facilitator for that Windsor team. He brought the ball up the court for him the entire year, and I think he did a really great job for them.
Sky's the limit for Mr. Shirk and the Windsor Owls is for sure, Ray.
Yeah, he's a guy that can really surprise you, because he'll come down the court and kind of look a little nonchalant, and then boom, he's already behind you.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of watch him. Kind of one of those sneaky in disguise kind of guys, but great addition and a great help for the Windsor Owls.
Well, that leaves us with our final player of the day, our final player on the second team here, another Festus Tiger. See that logo up there again, folks. Mr. Connor Westhoff, the senior, second team all-conference selection, averaged 8 points a game. Had 51 assists and 29 steals for the Tigers, 74% from the charity stripe, and another one of these guys. He'd come in the game in crucial situations to just seem like there were just times where you just give Festus a boost. I don't know, just in certain spots, Scott.
He just kind of nested into that role where it was like, okay, you need a couple of points here and there. Okay, you need someone to play defense. You just need someone to give you some productive minutes. He was that guy.
Yeah, I agree. What's your take?
I mean, he really solidified himself. I mean, junior year, he had a big 31-point game against Windsor at our place, and it really set him in stone. And from there on out, he was our guy that we could turn to. I mean, we need one bucket. Me, Armad, or Eric, or nobody could get open. We could just dish it to him. We know he could hit a shot from outside, just like Colin Winehouse. They can both hit shots from outside. Connor was able to take it to the basket, and he played great defense the whole year.
Right, and Colin did garner some votes on our panel as well, and it's almost like Connor and Colin kind of had some votes, maybe canceled each other out, but certainly great contributions, and you guys wouldn't have been where you were without them, either 100%. One for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I think Connor Westhoff, I was thinking spark plug at times, because there's times you guys might have been in a little bit of a sticky situation. They'd plug him in, Coach Therrell would come plug him in, and man, it just seems like he pressed the button at the right time. So kudos to Connor Westhoff.
Well, gentlemen, that brings us to our next part, and that is our Players of the Year.
Ooh, drum roll.
I didn't have these in alphabetical order. Do you have them in alphabetical order, or does it matter?
You can do them however you like.
All right. Without further ado, let's go with the girls first. We're going to go large and small.
Okay.
And here again, no co-MVPs. We wanted to do the work to make sure that we had one single winner for each category because nobody likes a tie. Our JCAA Large School Girls Player of the Year is, drumroll, Kayla Schnurbush from Perryville. She is the Perryville Pirate. Kayla just edges out Josie Allen by the smallest of margins.
Will you be able to console her?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And, Josie was our small school player last year, and she'll probably be again next year. But Kayla had an incredible season for Perryville, and you cannot discount their success as a team, and she had as an individual. So, not much to say there, guys. We've already talked about Kayla. Let's move on to our small schools player, and that is Miss Annabelle Wakeland.
Woo!
There we go. Scott's happy. His alma mater there.
You could have said Capozzo, and I'd have been woo as well.
Here again, we talked about all the accolades with Annabelle. Dominating player. Great as a player. She is just as nice of a person. And I don't know what else to say.
I think you said it.
There you go. Our JCAA Large School Boys player. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have interviews. When do you want to do those?
Right after this.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a break, and then we'll do, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
What you should do is you should do JCA Small School Boys and then do the JCA Large Boys last.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
All right, JCA Small School Boys.
Okay.
Mr. Gabe Watkins, pardon me.
He can't read his own typing.
I can't read it. Gabe Watkins. Sorry, Gabe. Jeez. Gabe won this award on his own by the whisker of his mustache.
I was going to say, can you put up the Pringles guy on the screen so we get the mustache?
I tell you, the coaches had him as co-MVP with Nate Rubel, and Nate's certainly choice. I had him as co-MVP with Colton Richardson. You could put any three of those guys could have been MVP, really, in my opinion. But Gabe, just based on his pure talent and the way he just electrifying at times. Definitely. Is the best way to put it.
He can nail the three. He can dunk. He can get you a steal in that closing seconds when you need it. He's
exactly.
The guy.
And we're going to have we've got an interview with Gabe coming up here shortly. That leads us to our JCAA Large Boys.
Who could it
be? Our JCAA Large School Boys Player of the Year is, of course, Mr. Cole Rickerman. Cole, congratulations, number one.
Thank you.
We appreciate everything you've done. We've talked about all of your accolades. what we're going to do, folks, is we are going to go to another break, and then when we come back, we'll interview Cole Rickerman. We also have some recorded interviews lined up that Ray's going to take care of. We'll probably go to first, and then we'll talk a little bit about what Cole's got going on in the season and the future. So we'll be right back. You're watching the Main Street Sports Show right here on Livestream STL.
We are here for the health and well-being of Jefferson County.
We are here at county schools, private schools, and Jefferson College to serve students.
We are here providing mental health services for children and adults.
Providing dental care, doctor visits, wellness exams, and immunizations at our school-based health centers.
Still respond to the demand for COVID vaccines and testing at Comtree clinics.
Join 1 in 20 residents in the county.
We are here.
We are here.
We are here. We invite you to become a member of the Comtree family tree.
Today, the air is perfect. Inside, expect more from your heating and cooling. Daikin.
I'm Scott Seek, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we'll focus on what's important to you. We'll create a personalized financial strategy backed by our advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we'll partner to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me today at 636-937-8081. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Petalin Pie, bringing wood-fired Neapolitan-style pizza, Italian wines, cold beer and soda, as well as Trek, Diamondback, and Redline bicycles to the Twin City area. Petalin Pie at 514 Bailey Road in Crystal City. Stop by or give us a call at 636-638-1080. Ride to eat, eat to ride. A pizza shop serving bicycles. Petalin Pie.
Tire Bargains, your one-stop destination for all your vehicle's needs. Established in 1985, we offer the best deals on all major tire brands, custom wheels, and lift kits. But we do so much more than just make your vehicle look good. We also help make sure it rides and drives good by offering a full range of repair and inspection services, including alignments. Whether it's custom accessories or repair work, Tire Bargains has you covered. Tire Bargains is located at 2100 Truman Boulevard in Crystal City. Give us a call today at 636-937-0021.
Mama's on the Hill, home of the original toasted ravioli. For reservations, gift cards, and banquet and catering inquiries, contact them at 314-776-3100, located at 2132 Edwards in St. Louis, Missouri. Check them out on the web on mamasonthehill.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive holiday offers. Hey, we're here with Annabelle Wakeland, our Player of the Year from Small School Divisions here in the JCAA. Annabelle, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, just wanted to, maybe just kind of relive a little bit of the regular season this year, kind of your thoughts on how you felt like the regular season went for you and the Grandview Eagles.
I was really happy with this season. We had really good team chemistry this year, and that really showed on the court, and I'm really, really proud of that.
Yeah. And I know they put you in in your district. You had a really good, successful run there, I feel. And take us maybe through the district a little bit. I know you got a little snub there by West County, but a pretty good run up until that game.
Yes, we got seeded third and below Greenville, who was seeded second. We were a little unhappy with that, and we went into the game to show them that we should have been seeded second, and that's what we did. And then we made it to the championship, and we gave it our all, and it just didn't work out in our favor.
1 point game there, and I know that that was a heartbreaker, but you got to be happy with the results. Being able to come ahead of what you thought, like with Greenville, kind of maybe being not seated quite right. But I know Coach Tim Winkler was pretty proud of you guys and pretty happy with the result.
Yes, he was happy and glad we showed them that we were the right seed.
There you go. So, wanted to talk a little bit about also. I know you played this year with little sis, and wanted to kind of maybe get your take on what that was like, and kind of your thoughts about the season with little sis.
I had a great time playing with Catherine, and the ride home was the best. Talking about the games or not talking, it was a bad one.
I'm sure.
But yeah.
That's great. That's great. And you got high hopes for her, coming into the next season.
Yes.
Gives you a lot of good seasoned veteranship, so to speak, with her being able to, kind of come up through the ranks again for the Grandview Eagles. As far as your commitment anywhere, college-wise, is there any commitment right now or any place that you're looking at?
No, not currently. I haven't really contacted any coaches or at all, and I'm still deciding whether or not I want to play basketball in college.
Now, if you would get some sort of offer or anything, do you have a particular field you're interested in going in?
I'm interested in the medical field and any sort of like public relation thing. And if there's like a good combination of that and a good basketball scholarship or just a good opportunity to play on a team, I would be happy with that too.
What does it mean to get Player of the Year?
It means a lot, and I'm really happy with how our season went. And for me to be picked out of this conference, it was meant a lot to me.
Great. Well, we appreciate it. And final question for you, and I'll get out of here with you. But you got a shout out to players, parents, coaches for for the season.
Oh yeah, all the parents who brought all the kids on the team to the games and everything. All my family, all our supporters, coaches, my teammates. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Great.
congratulations on the award, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you.
That's Annabelle Wakeland from the Grandview Eagles. Hey, we're here with Gabe Watkins, Player of the Year as Small School Boys. Gabe, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, congratulations, number one, on Player of the Year. And big help, I know you've been for the Herculean Black Cats this season. Take us through the season a little bit and tell us how you felt like you did on a personal level.
Personal level, I think I could have limited my turnovers, and that would have helped us score more points and stuff like that. But overall, I think I did way better than what I did the year before, and I definitely stepped up in multiple ways in taking the leadership role.
I know we caught you guys early on, and I'll tell you what, you guys were on fire real early on, and a lot of that had to do with you with key threes and steals, and just being able to protect the ball and things like that. So kudos to you on that. Let's talk about your team as a whole this season. I know you play a bunch of different roles, but your role around the other guys, what was that like this season?
It's kind of difficult sometimes because not everybody wants to work hard all the time, but I always try to get people to do the right thing and work hard so that we can win. Because if you go to other schools, they're not going to just be walking around in the gym. They're putting in the work to make their team better and stuff.
Exactly, and you're at a gym right now. We're interviewing you from a gym right now, and we've called you throughout the season kind of the gym rat, the rink rat, whatever you want to call that. But all of that, and I know that pays off after a while. And what keeps you motivated to continue to go to the gym even in the off season?
What keeps me motivated is my family's never really been none of them really graduated high school and done things in sports, and a lot of them could have. and I want to be the first person to do that in my mom's side of the family.
That's great. That's great. Awesome. Well, let's talk about that a little bit as well. We talked a little bit before this interview about your aspirations for college. Do you have a college picked out, and has anybody been looking at you at this point?
No, nobody's been looking at me yet, but I think I've been on some prep hoops stuff, which will probably help colleges come and look at me. And I don't really have a specific college I want to go to. I just want to go play college basketball because it's just been a dream of mine for so long.
Is there any particular field you'd like to get into for college outside of basketball?
I think when I go to college, I might do I'm gonna try to become a coach after high school if basketball don't take me further than college.
Hey, there you go. Awesome. Well, we appreciate the time. Real quick, give us a shout out to maybe coaches, players, parents out there that's helped you through the season this year.
Yeah, I shout out my coach Jason Jarvis, Dalen Parks, and Dylan Jarvis especially because he's always making sure I'm staying out of trouble in school. And I definitely shout out to my family because they always believe in me when I need them to the most.
Awesome. Well, man, congratulations, and we've got another year with you next year, and good luck to you during the off season here, and we'll see you next season.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, that is Gabe Watkins from the Herculaneum Black Cats, Player of the Year for Small Schools. And we are back here. Thanks for the interviews here from Gabe Watkins and Annabelle Wakeland. They couldn't be with us because they're out doing more sports. And same for Kyla Schnurbush. We're going to have her on earlier in the week, next week here coming. And we'll have that. We'll probably take all these interviews and put them together and mosh them together a little bit and kind of do what we can with them.
And speaking of that, do you want to briefly tell the folks what we have going on this week?
Yes, absolutely. You know, we're getting right out of basketball season, and we're rolling into the baseball season. We've already started about halfway through the Vikings baseball and softball season. So before we go to those particular games here, if you haven't followed us on all the outlets here, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram, do so over at Livestream STL. Check us out also. We're going to start, and we're actually on Mixlr.com right now, our brand new radio station. So it's internet radio there. So check it out, Mixlr.com/Livestream STL. And this is what our schedule looks like here for the next little while here. Diamondcast Baseball starts up. It's supposed to start up Wednesday, but I've already been contacted by Tilden Watson over at St. Pius X, Herculaneum St. Pius. That game may end up getting moved to Tuesday, so it'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday. 3:45 will be our pregame. We'll keep it over at St. Pius, and Grandview will be coming to town there at 4:15 on Thursday, again, weather permitting. We run back over to Vikings baseball. We'll be over at Jefferson College Saturday at 12:45 for our pregame. They take on St. Charles Community College on Saturday the 12th, and then, Saturday the 2nd, and then next Saturday the 9th, they take on State Fair. So we'll have both of those games here on Livestream STL. Girls softball, I'll tell you what, the 20-3 girls Vikings softball team is really rolling here. They'll have Metropolitan at home on the 3rd at 1:45, and then again on the 5th they'll be taking on East Central at 1:45. So we have plenty of things coming up here on Livestream STL, and don't forget, all of our games will be on our website, livestreamstl.tkdsports.com. We'll have that up into our Facebook page at the very top. You'll have all the links and all that. Each week we'll update those.
As well as on Mixlr, right?
As well as Mixlr. Mixlr is locked and loaded. I'm here to tell you. It is locked and loaded for the rest of the spring season.
You can't watch the video while you're driving, but you can always listen to Mixlr.
That you can. There you have it.
Well, Ray, we are very pleased now to have our live interview here. Cole, not playing basketball, Cole Rickerman today, obviously, I would assume saving his body for the rigors of training for football coming up this fall. And he has been a big help to us today here on the show as he's played with a lot of these players. Cole Rickerman, our JCEA Large School Player of the Year. And I'm going to turn things over to Scotty the Hottie Lotta.
the Hottie, the Scotty the Hottie the Lottie.
Lotta. Don't do that.
He can talk a little bit to Cole.
Okay, cool. Obviously, a great, successful year. As you look back on your career, what moments jump out at you the most?
I'd probably have to say, even this year, getting a chance to play in a district championship. I mean, we haven't had an opportunity to do that since we won it back in like 2012, 2014, something in that area, and it was really.
And you'd have been what, a freshman then?
Yeah, no, I was probably 10, but yeah, I mean, it was an absolutely electric atmosphere. I mean, that was the loudest gym I've ever been in my entire life, the most packed gym I've ever seen, and doing that and playing in the championship game for the Christmas tournament this year, that was the second time we've ever been in the Christmas tournament championship game ever since we ever entered in it, and that was really special. And I mean, I could talk about like some of my like individual performances, but that I feel like I'm going to remember more of what we did collectively as a team than what I did by myself.
That's very cool.
That's
Jeff?
a much better moment than fumbling the ball inside the 10 against Hillsborough as you're trying to win
that
the game.
one was tough. Yeah,
that's a tough one.
That was a tough one. Yeah,
I was just giving you trouble.
Yeah,
I guess you got the bumps and bruises. You're a quarterback, so you're a target in football. Transitioning out of that, trying to heal up through that, and I know you had some bumps and bruises in the season there, and going right into basketball. What is that like as far as we touched on that a little bit, trying to go from football, healing up, and then getting yourself into basketball shape, which is kind of entirely different than football.
Right. Last year it was tough. It was tough last year. I mean, even last year I had a lot of down. Last year was my down year. Getting from football, completely different like structure of how we play, from being under center to Coach O's run and gun type of team. Getting in the weight room, actually lifting for real lifting, and transitioning into basketball, it was tough. Like, it was tough on my body physically. It was a struggle to get back into the groove of things. But this being my second year, it was a whole lot easier because I knew what the process was like. I knew how to handle myself better. I knew how to nourish myself better, what foods I need to eat, how much water I need to drink, how to take care of myself.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. You see so many, especially at the small school, you see so many guys from football that go to basketball, and it does take a while, Scotty?
So you talked a little bit about, eating better, and you're a young man, and you've got a metabolism that can, kind of – I was a young man once, long time ago. But talk about, the nutrition and kind of, keeping yourself, accountable.
Well, whenever my earlier years in high school, so freshman year, I came in like 5'10", about 120 pounds. So, I mean, I was really little. I mean, I went over to the strength barracks over in Crystal City, which they moved, but since then. But the coach, Randy Althage, he put me on a meal plan, and it was not even necessarily the healthiest thing, but like, it wasn't eat fast food, but it was getting as many calories as you in a day. So I took in plentiful amounts of calories. I mean, I was eating 6 meals a day.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I got up to, by the end of sophomore year, I was probably about 145 pounds. So a good bump. And then I actually started lifting that summer with Coach O, and it jumped me another 30 pounds. And now it's to the point where I need to gain a little bit more, so I'm not a little frail guy once I get to school, once I get to college, but to where I can hold my own and take shots and not get absolutely crushed. But now it's kind of like, okay, I know what calories I need to get in for the day. I know what I need to drink. Drinking water is essential because cramps are horrible. I hate cramping. It is the worst thing ever. So get in as much water as possible. I know what calories I need to get in, and I know what food I need to eat.
So does that preclude any fast food, or can you kind of mix that in a little bit?
Oh, yeah, mix it in, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's young. He's got that metabolism.
That's why I was saying. It's like, go cheat in there somewhere.
That's right. Cole, talk a little bit about your relationship with Armad. You touched on it for basketball, but in the two sports, I mean, primarily, with him joining the football team, he was one of your go-to receivers and made a huge impact for your team, for the Tigers on the football field. But conversely, in basketball, he's kind of one of your go-to guys as he brings the ball down the court a little bit. Talk about the dynamics of that relationship and what is that familiarity that kind of you get to a point where you know where each other's going to be either on the football field or on the basketball court.
Well, we're like I said earlier. I mean, we're really close, like off the court, off the field. I mean, we're a tight knit group, and I'm close with Armad, and I mean, I had to talk him out to come out to football. I mean, he was ready to throw it in, and I was like, hey, wait until you experience your first touchdown. It's like no other. It was just like I want more. And as soon as it happened, I told him, I said, I told you so. He goes, yeah, you were right. And I was like, okay. And from that point on, I mean, we were close, but not like that close until after football started, and then we kind of getting closer. And I just know, I mean, I can joke now. I mean, I can take a snap, and I commented on one of his Twitter things. Man, Armad's down there somewhere. Just let it go. He'll get it. And transitioning over to basketball, it was still that kind of same thing, but he was more of the facilitator than I was because he can handle the ball like no other. And us just being that close, it was really easy for us to play together really well.
Now tell the truth, because I'm friends with Jason, but was Coach Therrell terrified of the fact that Armad was going out for football? Yeah, he's shaking his head.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Scotty.
Okay, so you kind of talked, how you kind of, got Armad to, hey, just come out for football, just try it, just have an open mind. Was there anybody who kind of got you to similarly do something?
Do you like to come out first? I mean, for football.
Or just got you interested in something there, maybe like, nah, but then kind of like, okay,
I think it actually might that with golf. I mean, Colin Whitehouse, he's going to Missouri Baptist to play golf. I mean, I started playing with my dad a little bit just to pass time in the spring because I wanted to play baseball anymore. And I started playing a little bit, and then I found out that he plays. And we've been close before then, but he was really the one that kind of got me into the swing of like actually wanting to play and get really good, which that's why I keep playing because I'm not the greatest. And hit 2 good shots makes you want to come back for more.
We had this discussion before we started broadcasting today.
So
it got him into the swing. Did you notice that?
I did. I was like, that was well done.
He fit right in.
He's a natural.
Exactly. Certainly, if you would have made it your focus, I believe, and this is my opinion, that you would have offers if you haven't already to play basketball somewhere. Having Coach O come in and having you develop into the player that you have obviously has meant that from a football standpoint you've gotten plenty of looks and a big commitment here to Lincoln University. But why football over basketball?
I feel like it presented a whole lot more opportunities because of the connections that Coach O just had. Because I mean, he came straight from Mizzou. He knew coaches all over the country. I mean, he's like. He told me one day that it was last year because he's my junior film. We didn't want to send my junior film out to a bunch of schools that I was interested in because they look at it once and be like, oh, this guy's not fully developed yet.
Right.
Move through, wait for the senior film. We waited for the senior film to send to those guys. So he'd send my junior film to a bunch of schools out on the East Coast, on the West Coast, just to see what they said. And he's like, yeah, I talked to a school in South Carolina today about your film, and he gave me all my feedback, and I just kind of opened my mind to like, wow, this guy can get me to places that I never even like thought of that I could get to. Which actually, what ended up happening, like I didn't think Lincoln was going to be on the table coming into end of my sophomore year, playing football, running wing tee, and handing the ball off every time. I didn't think that I had any type of opportunity to further my career doing that.
Mentions networking. Networking is very essential. You will find that out once you get to adulting. All right. So interesting, you talked about, the opportunities. What other things are on the table for you as you kind of take that next step?
I mean, I'm kind
If
of.
you've got stuff that's top secret, we don't need to know.
Oh, I don't. Well, no. Nothing that I can really think of. I mean, just kind of prepare myself, trying to do whatever I can to get myself ahead of the game once I come to summer camp. Just get whatever I can in, get all the workouts, get all like the work in, trying to make sure I'm in my top shape. So going into that, and then just kind of grind out schoolwork, and yeah, that's kind of about all it.
Awesome.
Well, that leads me into my next question was, being in contact with your coaches at Lincoln, have you had to modify your training and your diet to some of the things that they want to do, or are they pleased with what you're doing already right now?
They're pretty good with what we're doing. Coach O has a pretty good weightlifting system that he's put in for the past couple of years, and it's shown tremendous growth for not just me, but like literally everybody across our football program, even the people that don't play football that are in his weightlifting class that actually take it seriously. It's tremendous growth. I mean, I came in beginning of my junior year, bench pressing 135 pounds, squatting 240-ish pounds, hang cleaning 135 pounds. Jumping probably not even 30 inches. And now, I mean, even now, which just got out of basketball season, and I think the growth is just going to continue because my legs aren't going to be dead all the time. I'm going to be fresh, ready to go. My bench press is projected to be probably around 225. My squat's going to be around the 375-ish mark, 365, 375 mark. My hang cleans 250, 255. And my verticals, we jumped the other day, was 35 inches. 35 inches, yeah, 35 and a half.
So what's the ramp up on that? I mean, is it a matter of weeks? Is it a matter of days? Is it months?
It's a process. I mean, you'll see the guys where I'm athletic guys who haven't lifted before. They kind of have lower numbers, but then they immediately just shoot up in the first couple 3 weeks. And there's guys where, like me, it took a whole process of having to be there every day, grind it out, never have a bad lifting session, just kind of getting it ready to go. And I take probably months, years in the process of making of me being to where I am today.
Cool.
Well, I have my final question, and I'll give it to you guys. And we have the final question is going to be the Ray question. But the Lincoln University's offense, which I'm not familiar with, how does that play into your skill set? Are they a drop back team? Are they a run and gun? How does that work?
Well, so Lincoln, they're in the MIAA, which is like the best D2 conference in the country. They have been 0-11 for the past 2 years. They have they brought in a completely new coaching staff. They're bringing in new guys because the prior years before, most D2 schools have 32 full scholarships to give out, I think, to recruit their guys. I think Lincoln only had about half of that. So the numbers that they had were little. I mean, right now there's probably about 50 to 60 guys there right now compared to about 100 that like Northwest Missouri State has. But
so you have an opportunity to play right away.
It's an opportunity to restart new. And then Coach Gales, he came in from Arkansas Pine Bluff. He was the head coach there, and they were successful down there, and he wants to come and change the standard of how things are right there. It's the same way Coach O came in, which really helped decide my decision on going to Lincoln.
Right.
I know it's not going to be as quick as the change as Coach O made it of being an okay team to win a district championship, but I love the grind and the process of being from zero to hero. I mean, that's a great dream for me, and I think it's a great place for me to do that.
There you go. Well, Scotty, top that answer.
I don't think I can do that, Ray.
We're going to go to the Ray question now?
Yeah, let's go to the Ray question here. So we always ask shout-outs to any of your coaches, players.
Yeah, regardless of who we interview, this is the final question we end with.
Coaches, players, parents, friends, etc.
I mean, shout out to both my coaches. I mean, Coach O, he's done tremendous things for me, like I said. I mean, physically and, helping me set up my future for the next 4 years. I mean, he's a great person. Coach Thurl, he's been by my side since I've been in second grade, going to Festus Tigers, Little Tigers basketball camps, and made it a really great 4 years in high school for me, being able to play for him for 4 years. And shout out to my family for supporting me every way through. And, yeah, that's all I got.
I thought the last Ray question was going to be any unusual interests or hobbies or talents.
You could do that too.
Yeah, let's do that real quick. Any weird?
What do we know?
Stupid
not
human
know about
tricks,
Cole
things
Rickerman? That's the question.
Interested?
Hula hoops, skeet shooting. What do you got?
Interests outside
underwater
of
basket
sports?
weaving.
Ooh, I got to think about this one. I mean, I'm ambidextrous. I mean, I'm right-handed, so I like right left-handed. I swing a
Can you throw a football left-handed?
Not particularly well, but it's pretty moderate. I'd have to say.
Given some time, maybe.
Yeah, I look like a civilian trying to throw like a football.
It's cool. I'm ambidextrous as well.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. How about that?
There you go.
Very, very cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have had an absolute delight. I know we've run way over time. We appreciate your patience in staying with us here, both on the radio and on the live stream. But I tell you, quite frankly, we could talk basketball all day, and we could talk basketball and football all day with someone such as Cole Rickerman. It's been an absolute delight to have on the panel today. Those are my final thoughts. Scotty, your final thoughts?
I just wanted to say thank you for coming on with us today. Obviously, you added a lot more to the show, and it's nice to have a player's perspective when we're talking about players you've played against.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It was a great time.
Hey, what he said. That's all I have to say. Right there. So there you go. Thanks. We really do appreciate it. So, thanks so much for watching our Main Street Sports Standout show. We appreciate everybody watching, and do us a favor, like and share it to your friends, family, parents, and things like that. We get the word out to who was selected and whatnot. But thanks so much for watching Main Street Sports. For all of us here at Livestream STL, thanks so much for watching tonight. We'll see you down the road.